The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
For hours, you've been pushing, searching, hunting to find your target. You've managed glances at it, but never quite been able to close in. And in the dying moments, you finally find your opportunity to pounce. No, it's not an action film. It's the Predator format, back once again on the Pacific Majors. Today, the drivers in the Blackbird 2.4 Hours at Daytona, and you'll see it all live at the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth tonight are Bill Soupzon and Brian Yazik. Behind the scenes is our director, Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Brian, we just got to watch the real 24 Hours of Daytona, so many of our viewers might already be pretty familiar with this track. But for the uninitiated, tell us about Daytona's road course.
Well, Joe, the easiest way I can kind of describe the road course here at Daytona is it's deceptively easy. By most road course standards, it's not that challenging. There's not a whole lot of turns. There's not a whole lot of undulation or any off-camber turns or anything like that, but its simplicity can trick you. So if you look down into there, the first right-hander that the teams come up to, the International Horseshoe, it just falls away really easy. It's super easy to overdrive, and then even into the Western Horseshoe, same idea. Really easy to miss your braking points going into those corners. And then the bus stop can be deceptive too, because you're coming up through Daytona Ovals 1 and 2, and now you've got to woe this thing down from, top speed down to, probably third gear, and then cut it hard to the left and get through the bus stop. And it's not an easy Sunday night drive, that's for sure.
And to get an idea of what it's like on board, let's go for a lap guide around Daytona. All right, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Daytona. You brake for turn 1 immediately after the start-finish. It's a curved braking zone, transitions from banking to flat, and you're coming from the fastest part of the track to one of the slowest. How's that for a route introduction? Slip through this chicane flat out, and then stay left to brake for the International Horseshoe. This is a potential passing zone, so be aware of your mirrors. You'll have a paved access road to the left, so you can use every bit of track to carry more speed off that exit. As we transition back right, the kink is going to be a flat-out blast, but you gotta get back to the left side very quickly and get set up for the Western Horseshoe. This is a really tricky apex to hit, and it's not uncommon to see cars slip wide. Now we get ready for 6, one of the most important corners on the track. This will dump you back onto the oval, so making sure your car is planted at the exit is going to determine how soon you can get on the loud pedal and carry your speed all the way around NASCAR 1 and 2. The good thing is, the steep Daytona banking means speeds are high, and picking up a draft is pretty easy. Stay within range, and you can ride the coattails of a faster car. If you've got the speed to clear the car ahead, do it. Otherwise, be wary of trying to outbrake them, because now you're going to spot your brake marker for the bus stop. It's very, very easy to blow any of these 4 apexes and get a cut course penalty. If you did it right, you're on the power before you've hit the 3rd apex. And it's going to be even more important than turn 6 that you get this right. Like I said at the start of the lap, this will lead you to the fastest part of the circuit. But like most rovals, you can expect a drafting game to play out, and cars are likely to attempt a last lap snipe. Your best hope is to push hard and break the draft before then. If you can, you really want to be the second car in line coming out of the bus stop. But that's a lap around Daytona. That's a lap around the high banks here at Daytona, but to get us up to speed on the points, let's go to Bill.
There are a ton of championships to go for, and Amjad, you can go ahead and bring the first one up, and we'll do it right off the screen here. We're not going to talk about all of them. We're going to talk about the 3 that I think are the most important, and we're going to start with the Mario Andretti. This is the Drivers' Championship. This is for, obviously, the drivers. You see up there, you got Lovelady, who won the first event. Up there has a perfect 200 points. That's what you get for winning a race. Callisto had that great run that we saw, 10 back of him. Rietzman is 15 back, and then Michael Thompson and Derek Holtzhausen in the 5th position, 19 back. That's going to shake up some as the season goes along. Now we're going to look at the other one. This is the first time that the Pac Majors have had a team championship. So we got some new teams in here that we're going to get to learn. Elite West Racing, that of course is Loveladies' team. They have 385 points. Alliance Racing is in there. Just Cause Racing, Joe's going to talk about that. There's a couple of those. This is the black version. Mountain West Motorsports running in 4th position then. And then Dog Bear Racing Blue running in 5th. Then the other one we're going to look at today is my favorite. I don't know if it's a driver's favorite of us, but I have a lot of fun with it, and that is the Governor's Cup. And what this is a battle between all the iRacing clubs. And for the first time in a long time in the Pac Majors, I think we have an actual battle. Now, they changed the rules a little bit. They made it only, I think, the top 5 drivers of each club instead of the top 10, which used to this be kind of an attendance race. Now it's really about performance. Northwest out in front, but look how close. Hey, Joe, your West Club right in there at 268.
Hey.
Right in there, California behind them. And then if you look down at those last 3 teams, you see those which are, there we go, Texas, Canada, and Great Plains in there. So, nice run, though, from the 3 up front, Northwest, West, and California. We'll be checking out the other ones like the Legends, the Sportsmen, and all the club championships as well coming along as the season goes on. Back to you, Joe.
And let's get our viewers also familiar with what kind of race we're looking at today. Of course, the 3 classes, even though they're all racing together in one class, is the HPD cars, the GT1s, which is made up of the Aston and the Corvette, and then the GT3s, which is the Audi and the Mercedes. They are open setup, so they can tweak these cars to how they please. And now will make a difference based on comfort and whatnot with how low you can run that wing. And of course, 100% fuel, so they are going to be making about 2 stops today. Race is 2.4 hours long, and they do have 1 fast repair, and you're going to need it if you incur too much damage, but you're not likely to be able to take a win unless you get lucky, and that damage comes right when you're about to pit. The scoring, this is a Predator format race. We'll explain that in a little bit. I'll hand over to Brian for that. But for the Predator format, they are scoring basically kind of a double point situation. Not in that they double the points, but you get 100 points for an overall win and then 100 points for a win in your class. So you're competing both within your class and overall to give guys incentive to fight with one another and with everybody else out there. Temperature, 65 degrees, nice cool night here down in Florida. Eastern wind about 5 miles an hour and a clear sky. But we keep talking about this Predator format, Brian, so explain to our viewers what exactly is going on with this.
Well, Joe, this really seems like just controlled chaos. That's the easiest way to explain it. So the GT3 cars are going to be the ones that start on the track. They're going to be the ones that you're going to see take the green flag. The GT1 cars are going to start at 2 minutes or 2 hours, 18 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. And then the HPD, which is the fastest car, is at 2 hours and 10 minutes is when they go off. So what we're going to see is with this overall battle is the idea behind it being the fastest cars having to start the furthest back. They are constantly on the hunt. So think of it like a predator, maybe even apex predator in this certain situation. So it's going to get really interesting by the end of this race if you're going to see these guys battling, not only having to show the classes and try to race your class for the points, but then you're gonna when you look at the relative and then you see that HPD on the same lap as you and it's gaining. What do you do?
Well, in this case, if it's the end of the race and they're gaining, there's not much you can do. But during the race, they cannot block each other, so it seems like normal multi-class in that sense, but they also don't have to pull over and let the faster class by. They have incentive, if you're in the GT3s or GT1, to stay out there and fight as hard as you can to try and get to the corner first.
You mean you could always pull a Pastor Maldonado? And,
well, that might not help you win, necessarily. Now, you're seeing cars come out on track, which is usually normal during the warm-up, but they've had their drivers meeting here, so they finished talking to them, prepping the drivers, letting them know what is expected of them today. But we're going to do something special here today. We mentioned Just Cause Racing, and they're bringing awareness to various causes each month. Their team logo is meant to reflect compassion for all people. They'll change their paint scheme to match each month's cause, But tonight's cause is very special and close to many of our hearts because it's for Nick Hunt's family. Nick Hunt is a regular driver here in the Pacific Majors. We saw him all last season competing. We saw him last round even driving at the Snowball Derby. But unfortunately, Nick has sadly lost his daughter, Cody, in recent weeks. Their paint schemes are done in memory of Cody and in hopes of helping raise money towards a college fund for Cody's 4-year-old daughter, Molly. If you'd like to help donate, we've included a link in the YouTube description, and we'd like to encourage everyone to help spare what they can to help Molly be able to afford college down the line and help her further on in life. But what we're doing here, you're seeing the cars line up. They are going to do a memorial lap in silence in memory of Cody and in tribute to Nick, who is not racing today, understandably. But because the drivers in this series care so much about each other, as hard as they compete, Bill, as hard as everyone fights for the championship, this is still a family of guys.
When iRacing started designing this platform, I think they tried to make the greatest iRacing, greatest simulating for racing that there was. I'm not sure they realized that they were also creating a community, a real family of drivers that care about each other, even though they may not have met, and certainly that's the case here.
And it looks like they're about finished forming here, so once they start taking off, we're going to go quiet for a moment and appreciate this moment of silence, and it looks like they're heading off now. So just a moment as we now pay tribute. Thank you for that moment of silence. As they complete the lap, we just want to give a special thank you once again to Blackbird Anesthesia Consultants, who are sponsoring the Blackbird 2.4 Hours of Daytona here in the Pacific Majors. This is round 2 of 2017. We're looking forward to it. And now that the lap is done, we've actually gone right to the grid. So let's read you down the order. And looks like Normally they grid the GT3s first since they start first, but they haven't done that this year. So John Ulmer is your pole sitter overall, but he will be starting afterwards. David Williams qualified second, with Jimbo Pfeiffer having the third fastest time. In fourth, it's Lionel Kalisto with Paul Slavonic in fifth and Richie Hearn in sixth. Ryan Bird will start seventh with Wayne Hutchinson in eighth. Michael Thompson in ninth. Brian Grandin in 10th. Bill?
Then you got Chad Barker and Brett Trozine in 11th and 12th. Adam Young, Ray Partridge in 13th and 14th. Mike Taylor and Steve Jones, Jeff Stavo. Those guys are all in your prototypes. In fact, if I go down here, let me make sure I see where my first prototype of my first GT1 is. I think it's Fleischle in a GT1. So let me continue down here a little bit. Stavo, we go William Fletcher, still in a prototype. Kyle Burke, Ryan Toma. And over to you, Brian.
All right, 21st, Michael Lane, 22nd, Mitchell Coleman, James Wyckoff there, 23rd, 24th, Rob Gall, Josh Wolf, 25th, 26th to Claude Bedelvel, Aaron Stowe, 27th, 28th to Patrick Fleming, Brian Bennett, good name, there in 29th, 30th to Bradley Haley.
31st is going to be Jared Barclay, followed by Matthew Thunhurst in 32nd, Kyle Birdie in 33rd, and Blake Reynolds in 34th. Then it's Brandon Trossel in 35th, followed by Clark Archer in 36th, Brian Barnes in 37th, Brandon Milner in 38th, and Trevor Clement in 39th.
40th is Smitty, Michael Smith, Bob Beltrami, Brett Stevens in 42nd position. David Baker, AJ Clark back there, Bruce Nelson, and Chris Pence in the 46th time. 46th spot, Ethan Moore, Mark Herzog, Mark Lossing, and Andy Kennedy in the 50th spot. Brian?
51st to Scott Gruber, Tom Dreiling, 52nd, 53rd to Lyndon Swaby, 54th to Christopher Sherburne, Bart Workman, Kyle Murphy, Marcus Armstrong, and Ernie Ludwig all rounding out the field. But here we go, the roof pace car back out in front. Patrick Fleming is about to leave a whole bunch of Mercedes GT3 machines away. We are under green at the 2.4 hours of Daytona.
Ooh, big checkup behind him, though. Everyone was had their heads on a swivel, though, and thankfully did not manage to get into anybody.
Ooh, almost contact in the turn one.
A lot of side-by-side action between them, but I think everybody's managed to make it through clean, it looks like.
Looks like it to me back here. There is, God.
Battle for the lead, though, already.
Bennett is not going away. Fleming just wants to try to get away and run and hide, but Bennett is all over. That battle is bringing Barclay up into this.
Fleming finally succeeds in getting past him. It's not over yet as they head to the Western Horseshoe. I think Bennett thinks better of it. He backs off just a little bit. That allows Barclay to close in on the back of him. Barclay a little bit wide coming through the Western Horseshoe. Birdie takes a peek, but nothing doing.
Still all single file up here in the top part as they're working their way back out to the oval section, turns 1 and 2 of the high banks here at the Daytona International Speedway. Bennett in close pursuit of Fleming. But Fleming is going to be just far enough ahead that the draft should even out for these guys. So Fleming should be able to get through the bus stop here and out on the other side in 3 and 4 with the lead. But boy, I lost my name there. Bennett is closing just a little bit.
Ooh, close moments there for Barclay. Almost got into the back of Bennett. That slows him up. And look at the chain reaction this is causing. Here comes Bernie all over the top of him. Behind them, Bradley Haley and Blake Reynolds getting very close together. The draft's going to bring him in once again. We're going to see some side-by-side. We have some unfortunate action with Swaby. Lyndon Swaby all by himself over in the bus stop. Let's look at the replay here. On entry, ooh, just starts to get away from him and narrowly avoids getting hit by Bart Workman.
Good save. I'll tell you what, while you guys were watching that, I was watching this battle here between Barclay, Bernie, Blake Reynolds, and Bradley Haley. They went into turn 1, 2 by 2. 4 guys trying to fight it out over one spot. Meanwhile, in the cause of all of that battle, Bennett and Fleming have been able to check out by about 7 car lengths as they head off into the Western Horseshoe. Here comes Bennett charging back up to the outside. It's a long way around that corner, but he's going to try to make it go.
Fleming obviously still feeling under threat as he stayed to the inside coming down to that Western Horseshoe. Everybody single file still coming through 6, now into NASCAR 1. And here we go, up onto the banking once again. Everybody starting to get their own little space.
Here comes the draft, though. He's 3 car lengths back. Pretty much on iRacing, the standard rule of thumb is if you're beyond 6/10 of a second, 6 car lengths up, you're fine. But watch that Mercedes. It's getting bigger. Bennett right now closing onto the rear bumper of Fleming. Fleming is paying attention, and he's got to hit his marks here through the bus stop. Looks like he did a really good job, though.
Chasing that Alliance driver back onto NASCAR 3. Behind them, quite a bit of a battle going on between Bernie and Reynolds. Reynolds has closed up on the back of him, wondering if maybe he could get enough of a run to go around the outside to be clear by turn 1. Pulls up to the high side.
There he goes. Blake, as you know, he's going to be licking his chops here when the Pac Major Series returns back to Daytona for the 500 coming up. They were good side by side once again there in the corner. Bennett is not going away from Fleming.
Reynolds went in very deep, but not able to pull it around the outside of Bernie. Meanwhile, Clark Archer pitting early. Wonder if he got some damage. This is definitely not time for a pit stop. Unless he's trying to run it in reverse order. I guess he could do it that way.
Still kind of early, I would think.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to pay off, but we do have 1 minute to GT1, so Bill, definitely...
Yeah. Do I get paid the same even though my group hasn't started yet? I still get full pay, though, right, from GSRC?
Yeah, you're still getting paid the same. But definitely butt in when they start to take off. Man, Bennett, like you said, just
we're going in about 30 seconds.
All right, that gives me
Joe,
enough
one
time.
thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
One thing that's kind of interesting on these formats is when the GT1s get dumped out onto the track. We're about 30 seconds away from that happening. Will they be dumped out into an open track, or will they be dumped out right into the herd of GT3s?
I think the leaders are going to be fine, but these guys that are coming out of the pits, they're going to be like in Tommy Boy. They're going to be in a swarm of bees, and there's nowhere they're going to be able to go.
Well, thankfully, it's a very small class of GT1s, which we should just call the Corvettes at this point, because nobody in the Pro Split has elected to use the Aston Martin.
That makes sense.
And got a couple seconds here. 5 seconds we just heard over the radio.
Now, what got me confused when calling out the grid, Jason Fleisley was your fastest GT1 Corvette in practice, but he's not here today, so it's going to be Ryan Toma leading them out.
Sad to see Jason miss another race. He's already missed his oval race earlier on because he didn't really want to try and mess with his snowball. But that means Ryan Toma is going to lead them away. He is coming out right in the middle of things. He's got clear track, but he's going to have to weave his way through these GT3s immediately.
And the good news for the way that the pit lane was laid out.
Who just got knocked there?
That was Marty Ludwig, I think.
David Baker really got into the back of him, just sent him around down into the International Horseshoe, and then he almost pulled right into Bart Workman. Workman twice in about 3 laps nearly gets hit.
And that's right in front of the GT1s that just got on the track.
I wonder if he's going to get on the radio, guys, and go, there's still 2.5 hours left, right?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to listen to him with it being a Predator race. There you can see, wow.
Well,
oh my goodness.
That kind of reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. The lion often does not care of the opinion of the sheep. Oh, problems up there in the front! Big problems! Who is that? The 35 machine. Jared Barclay was in the hunt of it, came off of the horseshoe. Goodness gracious, boys.
Oh, my
Came
goodness.
out of the horseshoe, or not the horseshoe, but the bus stop, and boom. Here you're going to see it on replay. Just looks like,
Death wiggle.
Death wiggle.
And did a good job after pinwheeling, did a good job of staying on the brake so that everybody could get around him. He was right in the racing line.
And everybody else really did an amazing job of keeping low, because everybody, if they weren't aware, especially if they were in traffic, could have easily just plowed into him, not aware that there was a car stopped.
There is one fast repair, but that's gonna.
Yeah, definitely.
He's had any chances of winning. He's gone now.
Yeah, it's going to take a minor miracle, not even a minor miracle, a major miracle, act of God, if you will, to regain that track position. Still,
here
Now,
we see
Toma-
Toma. Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like he's in a battle, but he's really not here. I don't believe that's a Corvette behind him. So he's way out in front of all the guys that are racing with. Right now, he's 24th overall. He's got about a 5-second lead back to Mitchell Cornett, who's the next Corvette out there.
And again, they do get points according to where they finish in class, so there's reason to try and fight within your own class, even if you're not the leader. But
Now-
certainly got a handy little gap.
If you're scoring at home, there's 31 cars on the lead lap. That number's going to get smaller. Then, as the race gets near the end, watch the cars start to all get on the lead lap as the number will grow. It's very strange, this Predator format. Toma making a good job getting around. He's 3 laps down.
Just behind Toma, he just overtook Ethan Moore. Now, if you're a fan of riding shotgun motorsports, you might be more familiar with their sort of woody paint scheme that we always poke fun at. Well, they don't have that this time. They've actually changed their paint scheme as Moore actually takes possibly a cut course. Yeah, he's going to pull over and slow down as he went over the bus stop in the way that you're really not supposed to. But they've got these yellow cars as we almost go 3 wide there. And they managed to survive. That was Mark Lawson and Bruce Nelson there. If I can get to my point, these yellow cars are in tribute to Cody, Nick Hunt's daughter, because her favorite color was yellow. So that is a nice little nod from that team for this race special.
Cool.
back out front here, and technically in the front of the race right now. Fleming has lost the lead away from Bennett. Bennett's been able to move away just a little bit, but Fleming is under fire big time from Kyle Burney, Blake Reynolds, Bradley Haley, and even Brandon Trossel, a teammate to Archer, no, not Archer, Barclay, that just had that moment at the exit of the bus stop. It seems like everybody, kind of like a big rubber band, everybody gets away from each other for a moment, and then I look up and everybody's right back on top of each other. Like, take a look at Bernie right now. He is under fire big time from Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, Bernie's not having a good weekend at the moment, but
he's not having a good weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, you got the joke. So Blake Reynolds, oh, he's trying to make it too wide. Always risky to try and do that into the bus stop. They both managed to come out. Again, we need to emphasize drivers normally would not take these sort of risks in this long of a race, but you have to. You have to make every little inch that you can just because you cannot wait around.
Yeah, it's the juggling act, really. You have to make these aggressive maneuvers, but if you make too aggressive of a maneuver, you're going to wreck, and that's when you're going to find yourself really at the back of this. God, look at this. Not Bevel. That's all. How are these guys getting through here into the beginning of the corner? Reynolds is now under fire from Haley, but Haley can't quite make the power go on the backside. Reynolds is going to hold the position.
And Bill, we remember Haley from the Atlanta race last season. He knows how to run these Predator formats, even without experience.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
So Bradley Haley currently holding down 5th overall and in the GT3s.
Let me try to do a top 5 rundown here before the prototypes come out. In the GT1s, that's Brian Toma is out in front. He's out in front by about 5 seconds over Weisskopf. Okay, Weisskopf has about a 1.4 second lead over Cornett. And then you get back to Rob Gall running in 3rd spot. And Gall is in a battle with Joshua Wolf. So there are your 5 prototypes, or 5 GT1s. And they're kind of mixed in there with the GT3s right now.
Certainly not the way they wanted to come out. Wanted just a little bit of track to maybe get some distance on these HPDs, which are really going to be causing a hornet's nest in just a few moments. We got about less than 2 minutes before they're released. Here we see Stowe, 37th overall. Things have settled down a little bit up at the front of the GT3s. Bennett got a little bit of space over Fleming. He's closing in. Is he going to try and take it back? Oh, Bennett feels really under threat. He stays all the way down to the yellow.
Trying to keep that defensive line going off into turn 1.
He knows that it's tricky breaking down off that banking. While just behind them, still a side-by-side battle happening between Bernie and Reynolds. Reynolds not able to make anything happen. Now they're heading down into the International Horseshoe. Bernie staying defensive down to there. Reynolds looking very strong onto the brakes, trying to go the long way around. Oh, and he might actually pull this off. Look at this. He's going to run out of road.
Goodness.
Bernie. Oh. Car left.
It's a close shave if I've ever seen one. Oh, this is where it's going to get fun. Race control just came over the radio. 30 seconds until the prototypes and the HPDs.
And again, they're hoping that they get dumped out into clear track. That wasn't the case with the GT1s.
But just looking at a track map, I think they're going to be in completely clean air. Yeah, 15 seconds. I mean, even the middle of the pack right now is just working through the Western Horseshoe, so they should have all the track to themselves.
We're watching pit lane now. We've got 10 seconds.
And the difference between the prototypes, they are right up on front. Ulmer's ready to go. He's going to be able to come out and get on the throttle right away. The GT3s were gridded farther back, so they had to stay on the rev limiter until they got. And here they all come out, and they are coming out right behind each other.
I saw a few guys trying to go too wide there. You literally cannot do that. It is a single file pavement line. But they managed to get out there. Ulmer leads the way.
Yeah, Brian had that nailed. They come out in clear track. But what's different is they come out side by side, or nose to tail, much closer than the GT1s. That's Ulmer out in front. Go ahead, Joe.
Back out front in the battle of the GT3s, Fleming has completely tried. He's come back and grabbed the lead back from Bennett. It was side by side through the tri-oval, took the high line down there into that first corner, but made it stick. That's the important part. And now Bennett is going to be under fire from Bernie and Reynolds and Haley and everybody else. Look at all there's problems up front. It's the 71 Bennett, our former leader, sitting sideways in the grass.
A little bit too hard on the power.
Got a clear track right now. Goodness.
Things are okay. We're seeing all right now. It looks like we're looking there at Brian Bennett.
So as we watch Bennett, looking at that, I think Brian, that maybe he caught a little bit of grass in a combination with getting on the power a little too greedy.
Yeah, that's pretty notorious there at the exit of that corner. If you swing it out too wide and gas it up, you will end up exactly like he did.
As we return back to live, we might have a few technical issues. If you see any glitches, we apologize. We'll try and keep things moving as they do. There you can see Bernie now bumped up into that second position, having inherited. I don't think he's going to have it for long. Here comes Reynolds. I think a cut course for Fleming. He goes way high and slow.
Fleming, he's running it high to try to minimize the run that these guys are going to get. Here they go, side by side. Down the front stretch. Look at Reynolds. He's going to take it up top in the high rent district. Oh, they're banging and they're touching. Boys, you got to get through turn one here.
Late move by Reynolds down to the inside when he saw Fleming move high, and that's going to give him second place. Bernie in one lap goes from third to first.
From Dory from the popcorn position to the main act.
And all this battling has kept these guys from catching up to Jared Barclay, who's a lapped car not far in front of them. That's going to throw even more craziness into the mix with these guys. Reynolds knows that he's got a great chance now. He was in fourth not long ago. Now he's in second, looking at Kyle Bernie in first, knowing that draft could move him into the P1 before this lap is over. Back up over the banking they go, out of turn 6. One of those critical corners. You have to get the power down.
I'm kind of admiring their line coming out of there, working their way onto Daytona 1 and 2. Taking it real high and then bringing it down to the yellow line. But look at Blake Reynolds. He's all over the back of Bernie here as they're going to come up to the bus stop. Let's see here.
He backs out of it.
Backed out of it a little bit, but he might be trying to roll out of it early. Tried to roll out of it a little early because he's going to get a run on the exit of the bus stop. Bernie is going to have his hands full as they work their way through turns 3 and 4 off to the oval. Here comes Reynolds to the outside. Head of steam. Now, these cars do side draft pretty decently, but the fastest way is going to be on the bottom. But here they come off of the corner, side by side, working their way past the entrance to pit road. At the line this time, Bernie led that. No, Reynolds got the lap lead, but now Reynolds is going to be on the attack to the outside. Don't miss the braking point.
Can he hold off Fleming? Yes, he does. Reynolds trying to play it smart, trying to see if he can outthink Bernie, but did not work that time around on the banking. Bernie staying defensive once again in the International Horseshoe. Bradley Haley also up in the mix. He has now been promoted to 4th after we saw the issues from our lead driver, Bennett.
Let's go quickly. We're going to go to 32nd position overall. We're going to have a lot to talk about here. We'll try to do it fast. Ryan Toma has been run down well, now you got a little bit James Wyckoff behind him. Wyckoff is about half a second back, and they're going through traffic right now. This is for the lead in the GT1s. Toma's coming up behind Brandon Milner and Brian Bennett. So Wyckoff has made up a lot of time, but we're going to leave this one for a minute. We got to go to the prototypes, talk about them. Yes, they're 7 laps down, and yes, they're not being nearly as exciting as the guys were in the GT3 classes. But right now, it's John Big Cheese Ulmer, and he's finally got into some track as he gets around Marcus Armstrong, the back marker in the GT3s. The Jimbo Pfeiffer is in second, right behind him. Look at this 3-car battle here. This is Pfeiffer, Williams, and Callisto. Now remember, yeah, they're 7 laps down, but by when this thing's all said and done, they're going to be there. And after running in 5th position, then in 44th overall, the former IndyCar driver Richie Hearn.
Hearn driving something a little bit closer to what he's used to compared to last race. A lot of downforce, much like the IndyCar.
Now, they thought Ulmer would be the class of the show, and so far he is. The Big Cheese problem is, can he keep the cheese on the pizza for 2 hours and 12 minutes as they do this long race?
And we got to go back to the lead, because side by side...
Oh,
and Bernie loses it!
Bernie!
Just barely edges the rear bumper into the tires. Let's watch it on the replay. I think this was coming off that bank, and it could be so tricky on that transition, Brian.
Yeah, and there you see, and especially when you're under fire like you were, like he was getting from Blake Reynolds. He probably glanced up just to see where Blake was and overshot his braking point by maybe 100 feet, maybe not even that. And that's where you saw what happened. Jumped on the binders to try to get it wound down, but he probably has a lot of rear brake dialed into that thing. And it just kind of death wiggled and kisses the tires just a little.
All right, 2 of our leaders gone away in almost 2 consecutive laps there. That means Blake Reynolds is now our GT3 leader. Meanwhile, Bill, you noticed another accident while we were watching that.
The exact same time that went on in a prototype, Mike Taylor spun it into the wall. I think he's still trying to limp it around back to the pits, but that's going to hurt his day. Meanwhile, if I can find how Toma is doing, it's hard to find these guys. I'll get back to you and I'll check in on the GT1s in a minute.
Okay, we've got Toma on screen. He's in 32nd.
There you go.
And he's not under threat from Wyckoff, but Wyckoff, I think, is closing in. Oh, and he closes in a lot because now Toma has met GT3 traffic in the form of Brian Barnes. That lost him at least a half a second there.
That's Barnes in the blue car that they get around. Look at then Toma ducks inside Wyckoff right behind him. Now Wyckoff has about a 5-second lead back to Mitchell Cornett. That's the next car in the GT1s. So this is your best battle right up here, up front in the class.
Got 2 classes with 2 of them battling for the lead. And just look at him close up as Wyckoff now has Toma well within his sights and a lot of traffic in front of him to give him opportunities to try and sneak by. Just look at this mess of GT3 traffic as we ride on board with Wyckoff, Brandon Trossel in there, Matthew Thunhorse, Kyle Burney, former leader in the GT3, he's in there.
And remember, these drivers are not being shown the blue flag. The cars that are coming by, the faster cars, are 3 laps down. So you have to really mind your F3 box. Make sure you know what's coming up behind you because you'll be surprised.
Yeah, a lot tougher when you don't have a blue flag flaring in the corner of your screen, letting you know to watch out for the car that's trying to come through. We saw a lot of drivers say it in the thread before the race, and we're probably going to hear it a lot from us. Your head has to be on a swivel.
looks like Joshua Wolf, who was having a great run, looks like he may have lost connection.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he spun. He spun the car. He might have just called it a day. He spun it back on lap 6 for him.
What's interesting is we've got our GT1 leader coming up on our GT3 leader soon. So that's one more lap that they're going to see slip away from them. Knowing that the GT1s are closing, and Fleming is closing on Reynolds, however.
I was going to say, speaking of closing, Fleming has just been creeping up just a little bit each and every single corner. Reynolds seems to be able to get out of that corner really, really good there. But it seems like Fleming is able to slowly reel him all the way back in. There you go, into the International Horseshoe. God, it looks like Fleming just kind of blew that corner right there.
He did.
Like a hungry dog chasing the steak.
Just a little bit too eager down into the International Horseshoe, and that cost him a lot of time. Bradley Haley wasn't able to capitalize on that, unfortunately. We knew this would be a survival race, but this early on.
I'm going to steal you away. I'm going to go to the prototypes real quick because John Ulmer, I will find out if he had a big cheese incident or what, but he has been ran down by David Williams now. Ulmer was way out in front, and now they are nose to tail. Coming up behind Brett Stevens.
Boy, we've been waiting for a battle like this ever since Williams left the HPDs and Autobahn to go to GT1. Now he's got a chance to try and run him down in the same class. And look at the traffic they're dealing with.
Yeah, Ulmer actually got checked up as he entered the oval. This might give Williams a run. Look how the prototypes are allowed to race down there on the apron. I think Williams is going to get him.
We've changed
this is a brain trip for me.
Yeah, they've changed the rule this year. They are allowed to race below the yellow line in this race. However, there is a caveat to that. Apparently, we're told that eats up the tires very quickly. So if you do it consistently, that can make life harder down the line.
Because even in any of these vehicles, you don't want to have to take a full, fuel load and 4 tires. Just the tire change alone, because of the iRacing service, how it does it, it's 1 tire at a time, if I'm not mistaken.
1 tire at a time, and you cannot do it while you're taking fuel.
Golly.
So extra long stop for all 3 of these classes.
Up here at the very front of the field, here comes Toma working his way through the GT3s. He got through Fleming, and now he's setting his sights on Reynolds. God, that C6 Vet just looks pretty. I'm not even, there's just no other way around it. It's a mean-looking machine.
And it is fast around Daytona. No surprise that Chevy has a lot of oomph under that hood to really power around the banking here.
It just likes to eat.
Yes, it does. And see, that's the problem that they run into. These are thirsty cars. So they are on a track like this that is so flat out, as now he works his way around Reynolds. They are going to run out of gas pretty quickly.
I bet you Toma now that he's gotten around Reynolds and go, oh, I've got free clear and track.
Only for a little while. Jared Barclay, the lap GT3 is still up there. Same thing with Kyle Murphy. So he's still got a couple more cars before he gets a nice big gap.
Yeah, he's going to be able to dissect that traffic really quick and easy, though.
And then as soon as he gets by him, John Ulmer is coming up in a hurry.
Let me just throw a shout back here. I've been kind of paying attention to this one. Trevor Clement and Bob Beltrami, 10th and 11th. Beltrami, we should remember the last race there in the Snowball Derby. Just kind of seemed like everything was happening around him at all the worst times. These two, I think this is about the furthest apart they've been on track this entire race, keeping an eye on the gap between the two of them. They've just been able to, they can't get away from each other. But then if you look just behind there's Richie Hearn. Oh, that's not what you want to see if you're in one of those nice prototypes.
Yeah, side-by-side action ahead of you, but it looks like whoever was in that green and red one just slipped on through, said thank you very much.
Yep, Beltrami just kind of said, yep, okay, I see what's happening. I'm just going to get out of the way, because here he goes. Aha! Look at that. That was a veteran move right there.
Oh, Michael Smith.
Into turn 1, yeah.
Oh, at least he spun out in the wide open part.
He's able to fight another day.
Well,
but
actually, you know what? It wasn't Smitty. It was the car in front of him. It was Claude Belval. spun in front of Smitty, and Smitty had to do the avoiding there. Ball running in 38th position. Nice job from Smith.
And he actually got clipped. So his spin wasn't a solo effort. It was Wayne Hutchison in a HPD, came up behind him, just barely glanced him.
I'm going to give him a break. I'm going to say ghost contact on that, at least on my screen.
Well, he better hope that the stewards feel the same way. I was just about to say, they do have live stewards in these races, and they do hand out penalties as the race happens. We saw a lot of them last round at the Snowball Derby. Well, Blake Reynolds has now been overtaken by John Ulmer, so HPDs have regained one of their laps. Only 7 more for them to overtake. Our leader actually was out in the grass. GT3 leader Blake Reynolds had 2 tires in the grass. Behind him, action happening. Patrick Fleming is stuck behind the tires.
Oh.
And he takes a tow.
Oh my goodness.
He threaded the needle. Watch this. I've never seen this live in a race. I've seen guys do this goofing around. Unreal. Was he trying to avoid someone? Let's see on the replay here. Ooh, a little bit of contact maybe we're hearing. And it was David Williams, interestingly. Let's watch it from above here. Didn't look good for that angle.
No, that looks pretty...
Watch on board, Williams, see if maybe his angle can redeem him here. I know the stewards are probably going to be taking a look at this one. Both were kind of shuffling around the track there, Brian.
Yeah, kind of looked like David was trying to get to the corner and maybe Fleming was trying to move out of the way, but there wasn't enough room between the two of them that they thought was there.
Well, this gives a little bit more breathing room to Blake Reynolds and promotes Bradley Haley up into second now.
Yeah, once they come across the starting line, looks like Blake Reynolds is going to have about a 4-second lead over Bradley Haley.
And Bill, you've noticed something here.
Yeah, 42nd position. Let's look at Paul Slavonic. He has got around Richie Hearns. Hearn was making a climb through the field. He had actually started to close in on Callisto, who's running 3rd overall. But now Slavonic is making a move, and I can also report that Ulmer all of a sudden put the throttle down and has left Williams behind. So Slavonic up to 4th in class. Richie Hearn following him, though, still in the hunt. That's the closest battle right now. You can see Hearn back there in that yellow machine as they work their way into the we'll see where they are. They're coming back out onto the oval now.
And you can see just how much of an effect this traffic has as he gets a huge gap over Hearn, who's finally able to work his way past Kyle Murphy. Seconds, multiple seconds sometimes lost just for waiting for traffic, which is why you see such aggressive moves.
And let's go to 32nd overall. This is Toma. My goodness, James Wyckoff, it's just... I would really appreciate if he would get this pass made. I wonder if he's sitting back there saving fuel right now. Look at the run he has. He can do this if he wants it. Watch Wyckoff. He's going to go to the outside. Is he actually going to make the move now? This is for 1st in class. They're side by side. I think so. Is it going to be done, Joe? I think. Boy, look at Toma fight back.
Wyckoff looking at maybe the first lead change of the GT1 class, coming around the long way around. He's not giving up easily, but finally it looks like Toma's able to slam the door on him.
Wyckoff just, boy, did all he could. He certainly is trying. It's good to see Wyckoff back. I know he has health issues and is glad he's feeling well able to put in a good long race today. Good job, James.
He always gives us some entertainment. Toma was way defensive down in the International Horseshoe. Looks like he's gone back to his normal line.
These guys are 2 laps down. Plenty of times to get there.
More issues in a GT3 side of things. Kyle Murphy just kind of had a moment there. Ooh, who was that? He almost got collected with. Kind of He came off at turn 1, kind of like what we saw earlier. Just got on the goose just a little too hard.
And Michael Thompson actually got into him. So I wonder if Thompson is going to have some damage on that HPD. Those things are so aero sensitive. That's not going to help.
And I can report that Wyckoff finally got the pass made. He did it kind of sneakily. Slavonic in a prototype went by on the outside. Wyckoff tucked in behind Slavonic, got a little bit of a toe off the prototype, I think, and pulled him around Toma. So Wyckoff out in front now.
Looks like Toma paid attention to that move. He was trying to do the same thing.
Oh, he's coming back. Boy, these guys are... My guys, we got a long ways to go. Toma now on the outside going into 1. Ryan thinks better of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Toma looking a lot more timid than what we saw from James, although he's backing up the corner to get himself a run off of it, closes right back on him. Does he take a peek to the inside? Yes, he does, but he's a little bit too far back to make it effective. Wyckoff gives him room anyways. Good, fair battling from both these Corvette drivers.
They have an 8-second lead over Rob Paul, I believe.
And Thunhorse might have had a problem there. I heard him get on the radio over something. Seeing if I can figure out what happened to Thunhorse.
I just heard him scream, "Problems!"
Yeah.
Oh!
Michael Lane is off. He was running 4th in the GT1s at the time.
Unfortunately, we can't get a replay for that for the moment, but we're watching Lane live.
What he did was he glanced, I think, off the inside wall and then kind of bounced out onto the grass, and he had to let a ton of cars go by before he came back on.
Well, up front in the GT3s, nothing much to report. Blake Reynolds has a 5, almost 6-second lead over Bradley Haley, but where the story is coming in is Haley is going to be under fire from Kyle Burney. You remember him? He led at one point and spun off into turn 1, and he's slowly trying to get this back together. He's running comparable lap times to Reynolds. Nothing that's going to be earth-shattering to make the distance close, but he is still in it.
And unfortunately, Michael Lane coming into turn 6 all by himself, outbraked himself, spun into the inside tire barrier, and took a toe. It was a hard hit.
Yeah, I don't think the car was working right after his first spin. I think he glanced it off the left-hand side, the driver's side, and I think that was his insult to injury.
Now, I'm not sure if this is normal process here. We see that Ethan Moore has gotten a black flag and then he had it cleared. So I'm not sure if the stewards decided he didn't deserve the black flag that he got, or if they just removed it so that, because he was given a drive-through penalty, and I don't think iRacing gives drive-through penalties. So maybe they removed it once he saw, he could see on his screen that he had the black flag.
Oh, goodness. Bernie cut off Adam Young really bad right before the Western Horseshoe. Look at this! Ooh. He is not giving any room. No quarters.
And I think that's fair. I think that's according to the rules. Oh, almost takes the apex, gives him a car's width there. Adam Young, the weatherman, having a hard time trying to weather this storm. And Bernie gets on the radio, not happy with Adam trying to be so anxious to get through.
Oh, shots fired.
And Stewart's getting on the radio, letting both of them know they cannot argue during the race. There were actually penalties handed out last race, Brian, for drivers arguing.
We're only 40 minutes into this one.
Oh, this always brings out the tempers, the Predator format. They got an hour and 47 minutes to go. If you're just joining us, welcome to round 2 of the Pacific Majors. It's the Blackbird 2.4 hours of Daytona. Hope you're ready for an incredible race, a frantic race around this Daytona road course. Right now, Blake Reynolds is your overall leader. This is the Predator format. Everybody is racing in the same class despite having different class cars. And it's the HPDs and GT1s trying to catch the GT3s.
Blake, is it just me, or has Blake got a little bit of front end damage? Or is that just the contours? No, it might be netcode too. That's true.
I'm not seeing any
it's fine
on the broadcast.
It's just on my end. Never mind. Obviously, 58 cars on a server. iRacing is
Taking its
having
time.
a field day.
Yeah, that's for sure.
There you see, looking back. Oh, I love that camera angle because you can just see, looking back in the mirror. Who was that back there? That was Wayne Hutchinson in that white HPD. And here he goes. He's going to hang it to the apron, and probably the darndest thing I think I've ever seen.
He's in a hurry because he's got Adam Young trying to chase him down. Those two are in a battle. Adam decides to go up on the banking. So, looks like as they work their way through the bus stop, now clear of traffic, they can get back to battling. Going to be a little bit before they get up to Rob Gall. He's the next car in line. And you can see just how much havoc these HPDs wreak on all these battles.
Yeah, look at that. At the back of the front here, Bernie starting to creep to the outside of Bradley Haley. Haley caught the apron a little bit. Side by side down the front stretch here at the Daytona International Speedway. We've seen this work before.
Ooh,
I
Haley
think
backed out
Haley
of it.
just let him go. Well, look in the mirror. There's an HPD creeping up on both of them. Maybe Haley was thinking long-term survival, short-term loss.
I think that's exactly what was happening there for Haley. As that HPD, that's Steve Jones, who worked his way inside, has now split the two of these GT3 cars. The two that we were watching, Kyle Burney in the white machine and Bradley Haley in the orange machine, that's 4 second.
I thought that was going to get a lot hairier than it was. Because it looked like that HPD was going to get up to the side of Burney coming through that little left-hander. But who do we say that was? That was Steve. Steve Jones wisely rolled out of it, and he's just going to decide to fight this battle on the high banks.
This is the most circumspect HPD I've ever seen in a Predator race, honestly. He could have stuck it to the inside of turn 6 and elected not to. Cost him quite a bit of time.
It's pretty civil all throughout the GT3 class here. Closest battle that I can find on the screen. Let's see here. It's back there for the 10th position.
10th position or 6th position, either or take your pick.
Yeah,
They're both
either
within
one.
about half a second.
And there's Beltrami. Let's go back up and talk about Bob Beltrami, just because I like his name.
Beltrami the Salami. He's
There
currently
we
sitting
go.
9th.
Cast roll machine.
A nice classic paint scheme on that Mercedes. He's with about half a second of Brandon Miller for 8th. Milner's going to give him a draft and allow him to reel him in, but I don't think he's close enough to maybe try and pass him by the time they hit turn 1. That was John Omer, our leader in the HPDs, who just slipped by on the outside.
Oh, Beltrami on pit road.
All right, here we go. We're just about to the hour mark. We got about 20 more minutes till then, so some guys may be thinking now's the time to get out of this traffic, come in, take a scheduled stop.
Fuel only, it looks like, at least so far, on Beltrami. We keep looking at Blake here. I'm just going to keep an eye on the pit road situation.
Fans of Blake Reynolds might want to know he's about 8.5 seconds ahead of Bernie. So he is holding that lead comfortably at the moment. We're not going to get a picture of who is going to be most likely of the 3 classes to come out as the overall leader until we get very close to the end. So you're going to have to stick around if you're curious about that.
Well, what I'm noticing is Toma right now is 2 laps down. And he's done that in the first 40 minutes.
He's left Wyckoff behind, by the way. Remember, we were looking at that battle going on. He's now got 5 seconds on Wyckoff. I'm liking Ryan Thomas' chances here. He's going to get 1 lap down here, not too long to go, and then he only has 1 lap to make up, and then all the way around to get to the leader.
GT1's won last season's. It's not unprecedented for them to come home with the overall victory.
And then to update you in the prototypes, Ulmer's got about a 6.5 second lead over Williams. David Williams with about a 10-second lead over Kalisto. Hearns has got back around. I talked about Slavonic. Hearns has got back around Slavonic now. Back up into 4th, Slavonic in 5th. There's your top 5 there.
There you can see Richie Hearn 42nd overall as he slides inside that GT1 car. Proto Simtech machine continuing on, as you said, just about in 4th position in the prototypes.
I watched the old Saturday Night Live Chris Farley, Paul McCartney interview just in case I ever have to interview Richie Hearn. I'll know how not to do it. Richie, remember when you were Rookie of the Year at Indy? That was great.
All right. Well, we should remind everyone, if you're noticing, that we have quite a few cars still in this, despite some action going on all throughout the field. They do have that fast repair, Brian. That can bring a number of guys back into the mix.
That is a game changer out there. I just saw an HPD. I didn't get a really good look at it, but an HPD coming out onto the Daytona oval that was kind of stuck in the tires and was trying to back itself out of that. So, I mean, it's a game changer. I mean, in this type of format, you know that if you probably have to go to it, it's done for.
We got a driver stopped at the bus stop. I didn't quite catch on the screen who it was.
One of the 35, Jared Barclay.
Ooh, that's not the first time he's had trouble.
He and the bus stop aren't seeing eye to eye.
Oh, was it the same thing?
He tags the bag and
That wing's bent too, so might be hitting pit road here to get that rear wing serviced.
And the poor guy was just pinned against the wall. There was no way for him to pull out. He had to sit there forever to wait for traffic to clear. Nice job, though, Jared.
Oh, he didn't hit it as hard as he did the first time.
That wing is there's a term that we've got for something like that around my parts called foobar. I'll let you fill in the blanks.
We won't need to expand upon that. So an unauthorized addition to his wing is going to slow him down as we watch Barclay continue. And I think that's his teammate in there ahead of him. However, I'm assuming on a different lap from him.
Pretty safe assessment. I'm hearing some chitter chatter there. Ryan Bird, Michael Lane. Is there something worth looking into there?
Yes, I think Michael Bird maybe didn't appreciate how hard he was being raced.
All right, did I see Bradley Haley just exiting the pits? Was that... No, that was not Bradley Haley. There was a GT3 car heading out, though. We saw on screen for a flash. It was a driver well down the order, apparently. So not one of our lead drivers. However, Marcus Armstrong and the GT3.
Oh, big problems. Big stack up there in turn 1. Just a big stack of it, kind of a one of everything. It's the Mark Lossing, let's see here. Ryan Toma, the GT1 leader, and Tom Dreiling. Everybody in turn 1.
Let's see. Oh, this was actually in the International Horseshoe, I think.
Yeah, the International Horseshoe. Kind of you'll see it here on replay. I think Toma just goes in there and smokes the brakes.
Lossing was around the outside. Oh, wow. And Dreiling got drilled. Did not expect, because Tolma was 2 cars back, and he was actually well to the outside. He had left a lot of room.
Yep.
And then on top of that, the HPD behind them, I think that was Hutchison. Yeah, that was Hutchison who had to take evasive action. Same thing with Adam Young.
Pretty much one from every class got caught up in that one.
Going to watch Armstrong and see what happened to him in the bus stop just as that was happening. Ooh, just starts to lose it, and he manages, nice save, keeping it out of the wall. Now we're finally back to live, now that we've covered all the action that started to erupt at the same time. I tell you what, Adam Young has just been trying his best to keep up with Wayne Hutchison, and it's like he cannot get a break in traffic to close in on him.
Guys, Ryan Toma just assessed by in-race stewards a drive-through penalty.
Ooh, that's...
You got to drive clean in this series. You can drive aggressive, but you can't get away with car-to-car contact. It's sad to see. Toma was so solidly leading this one. I don't want to write him off for the win yet, but this is pretty surely going to make it very difficult.
I'm trying to see why Wyckoff has also had trouble. I think your leader, now I could be wrong because I'm having some connection problems here. I think your leader could be Cornette in the GT1s.
Well, I'm seeing Toma still ahead of Cornette by about 5 seconds.
Well, that's going to change.
You're right. That's going to change quickly, though. That car can't be, well, he's got his penalty to serve. But Cornette is now ahead of Wyckoff. I could not see an issue. Actually, Rob Gall is also ahead of Wyckoff. I will see to find out what happened to James.
A number of our GT1 drivers, despite there being very few of them out there, all running into trouble at the same time here.
Here comes Toma to serve his drive-through.
That has got to be painful, coming down to the slow 55 miles an hour.
And there goes Mitchell Cornette.
Name of the game is not just speed, it's safety.
Well, and here's the thing is looking at Toma, he had a huge lead before that all went down. So I don't think his race is over. I think he's got to be very tactful now from here to the end. But we've seen that 24 Corvette, it's got the pace to do it.
Just add insult to injury, comes out right in the middle of a GT3 sandwich. Meanwhile, Blake
point of
Reynolds.
reference there. I was just going to say, point of reference, Cornette is just going through the Western Horseshoe where he was going through the other horseshoe.
That was the time he lost for that drive-through penalty. So, Blake Reynolds, one of our former leaders in the GT3s, currently in his pit stall stationary as he slides down the order. Where is he going to come out? In fact, who all has pitted so far? I'm curious here. Seeing the... And has Herzog had a problem here? Whoa! Number of cars not in the position they should be, and the bus stop there. Let's see what happened to Herzog. Did he kick this off? Look at this mess of cars! Oh my goodness! Try sorting this one out. Let's go on board Herzog. Boy, you talked about every class being represented a little bit earlier there, Brian. He almost
domino
had
effect.
3 wide in some situations.
Oh. Goodness gracious.
That HPD that he got into was Steve Jones, and then Steve Jones got into the HPD of Carl Burke, and then they had a little kiss afterwards. Like the two of them came nose to nose.
Okay, we got to...
Look at that. Just, I'm already... Oh, boy.
Kyle Burney almost made contact with Richie Hearn coming into the first corner. Hearn almost then touches the inside wall, manages to get away with it. And Burney's trying to catch the car as it's squiggling around under power. Paul Slavonic's trying to get to the inside of him. Behind them, he still has Bradley Haley threatening, trying to get in this mix. He was what you were about to cover there, Brian, trying to take first away from Burney.
I'm going to call Kyle Burney, Kyle the Brick Wall Burney. I mean, he is making that car wide whenever those HPDs come around to it. I was going to say, with Kyle Burney, I'm going to already nominate him for my Dory Award, where to just keep swimming. I mean, he was backwards sitting there in turn 1, and now he has assumed the lead of the GT1 and the GT3, and overall, as of right now, lead.
Well, I guess right now Kyle Burney is a brick house, mighty letting it all hang out here, leading this race.
Oh, spare me. We're gonna go to GT1s right now before Joe starts doing any more of that. I got a lot to talk about. I'll try to do it as quickly as I can. Your new leader is Mitchell Cornette. Now here's what happened. We know that Toma had that issue where he got on the grass and then he got the penalty, so he's fallen back. I found out what happened to Wyckoff. He had an issue about 4 or 5 laps ago in the bus stop. He cut the bus stop, looped it around. He lost lots of time there. So now your second place driver, about 5 seconds behind Cornette, is Rob Gall. He's the only guy who has avoided trouble. Toma is still going to be your third place driver. Wyckoff is going to be about 6 seconds behind him in fourth, and then Aaron Stowe in fifth. So things really shaking up. In fact, Stowe coming in, pitting from fifth right now, making his stop. The first of the GT1s to stop in the top 5.
Whew, hopefully, I have to catch my breath after that as well. As
Oh,
Bill furiously gets us through that order. Look at the GT1s. Not a lot has changed over there. Those guys seem very spread out.
Yeah, they're settling in. Now in the prototypes, Ulmer is running away with this. Williams is about 8 seconds back. And then it's about another 8 seconds back to Callisto. So there's your top 3 there. None of those guys have made a move yet. Then Richie Hearn, poor guy, has about 24 seconds to get up to Callisto right now, running in fourth once he got around Slavonic. Slavonic doing his best to hang on, only 2 seconds back. So there's your top 5 in the P1s.
Herzog just got a drive-through penalty as well, assessed by the stewards.
Not too surprised by that one. Did he just cut the course coming through the bus stop, though? Well, he took a weird line through there as he goes down low. I think, yes. I think he's going to slow down here a little bit and then take his penalty.
All right,
Yeah.
leader of the GT1s is coming in. Cornette is coming in right now. Toma is also in. Wyckoff is in.
These guys must have stretched it as far as those GT1s can go, as now they come to a halt and they're stalled. Look at them, all of them.
I would think Toma might be taking his fast repair here, although he's notorious for waiting to take it at the very end. But he can't afford it. He really needs to pick up the pace. Probably the best thing to happen as let's go up to the
lead.
Barkley.
Yeah, battle for the
Or to
overall
Bernie.
lead and throw an HPD in the middle of that one.
My goodness. Oh, and he's off into the barriers, or is
Oh, Fletcher in the wall.
he? Fletcher.
Fletcher.
That was Fletcher just
Car
coming
number
in
28,
way
ranked
too high.
56 overall.
From 0 to 0 in 200 feet.
I think his ambition was a little bit more eager than his brakes could handle.
That move took a set of attachments to pull off. And then it just,
Not necessarily the skill to match, unfortunately. So Mitchell takes a tow, and he's definitely going to need a spare car. Looking at that machine,
the front end is missing. It needs some Kardashian work, that's for sure.
Man, it's almost like a curse now, Brian. Every single time we see a battle for the lead in GT3, and HPD comes into the mix.
Yeah, something. It's almost being the leader of whatever perspective. The only leader of the class that hasn't had any issues and knock on desk right now, John Ulmer. He's had 0 issues being the leader of his class.
The last person we expected to manage to get through this without having some sort of issue along the way with traffic. But man, credit where credit is due to John. He's still leading these HPDs, and he's got about 11 seconds at the moment. He likes this apron line, apparently. I'm a little bit surprised. I would have thought he, with the weight it burns off the tires, that he would have tried to stay up on the banking. A lot of talk over the radio right now about drivers angry with one another.
Rob Gall in the pits. That was your GT1 leader. Cornette just got around him. Now, Cornette did not take tires.
Ooh, that's a risky move.
So he is well out in front. Toma's still a ways away. I think Gall has a real chance to get out here ahead of Toma. Toma running third overall right now. Well, we're debating on the times. Maybe he took his short fill. It's hard to tell. He had a very short time compared to the other guys. We're talking about Cornette.
Oh, and Kyle Burney is into his pit. So our leader in the GT3s finally down into his pit stall, taking fuel and tires. At least we think fuel and tires. We'll see.
Yeah. Our director makes a good point. It's kind of hard to tell.
We've
It
heard
was Cornette. Mitchell Cornette spun.
All right, Tolma has had a spin. More trouble for him, as well as Cornette. We'll get to his in a moment. And he had some help. Tolma getting tipped by David Williams. And he's getting on the radio, letting the stewards know. Let's go to Cornette, see what happened to him. This was over in turn 6.
Just about coming out on the oval, just spun it himself.
Man, 2 of our GT1 leaders simultaneously. One on his own, the other with some help. Putting some smoke in the air, getting that thing going again.
Now, just to follow up on what we're talking about pit strategy, I could not tell whether Mitchell Cornette's pit stop was short because he didn't fill it up all the way or he didn't take tires. But his time in the box was 32 seconds. That compares to Gall, Wyckoff, and Toma that were 50, 50, and 49. So he did something fishy.
Fuel only is what I would imagine with that kind of a time.
I would think.
Well, because of that, and I'm sure he's grateful for that, Mitchell is still leading the GT1s. And I have to think that that spin pays tribute, and this big lockup that we saw just now pays tribute to the fact that he probably did not take tires.
But what we have here is I guess if you're going to, you could divide it up into 3 equal stops, or you could have 2 long stints and a splash and go. I think that's what we're looking at. And in theory, you could take your splash and go in the middle. I mean, yeah.
All right, Bradley Haley is now in. Top GT3 guys. Actually, where is he going to come out? Because that was a close battle with Kyle. And I'm not sure if Bernie was having any side-by-side action on his outlap, which could slow him down.
Yeah, where's that? Looks like Bernie's coming out of turn 2.
Haley's out of his stall now.
Yeah. Nope, that's turn 4. Okay, it's going to get tight down there.
All right, past the exit cones.
Here
But
we
he
go.
can't accelerate quite yet. He's going to have to navigate this tight corner. Here comes Kyle Bernie. I think Haley's got him.
Well, we're going to see because he's going to have to do that little deed-I-do at the end. It's going to be real close.
He's got it.
He's going to get out there, but he's not going to have a big lead, that's for sure. As my server is going nuts right now.
Join the club. I had to leave for a little while, came back. A lot nicer when I came back the second time.
Well, Haley seems to have a solid connection. Definitely a solid connection with P1 at the moment. Although that's not completely true because Bennett and Reynolds have still... No, they've pitted. Bennett and Reynolds have jumped Haley and Bernie.
I remember Bennett was that first one to pit, wasn't he? No, Bennett.
Bennett's off strategy, we're hearing. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
his
Well, we
pickup-
got to dissect this one.
He took 27 seconds in the box compared to over a minute for everybody else he's with. 47 seconds from cone to cone compared to a minute and 22. So, yeah, something's up with him.
Well, they can take a short stop and a long stop, though. A lot of chatter over the radio once again.
I'm thinking a strategy might be Joe, might be a short fill and tires. Now, I think that's what could be going on. Just taking your splash and go on this stop and then take tires.
Yeah.
And then when you come in next time, you take a full load of fuel and no tires. I'm guessing that's what's going on.
That seems to make the most sense to me as well. So, what I thought was going to be calling the lead is switched to Brian Bennett leading GT3s, Reynolds second, Haley third. However, in the other classes, we've got Cornette still leading GT1 and Ulmer still leading Prototype. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after a short moment. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We just saw a dramatic moment. Brian Bennett got into an incident with AJ Clark down into turn 1. However, our GT3 leader is still scored in the lead despite a dramatic moment taking it into the tires. You're going to see it on replay
right
here.
There, just the the two German cars kind of came together there.
And Bennett even got up on 2 wheels. He hit the tires that hard. I'm surprised he's able to continue on.
Might be a car sitting in the middle of turn 1. That's not what you want to hear.
Well, before we get to that, let's get to another car that was sitting on the road. That was John Ulmer. He was our prototype leader. His wheel apparently had the USB come unplugged, so he had to stop on track and plug it back in.
We talk about Ulmer and the ways for him to have issues. He never seems to run out of different ways to have a problem.
You know, I've been sim racing a long time, and I've never had a USB come unplugged.
Yeah, I'm curious. Maybe a dog or a cat managed to make that one happen in the real world. So this means that David Williams is now your prototype leader, and Lionel Callisto is second place with Ulmer bumped down to third. We're now back to live, finally, with all the craziness that has been happening. I don't know if we were able to figure out who was standing stationary in turn 1, but if we do, well, Williams. Oh, Williams has some netcode damage. So what you're seeing on screen is not actually what he has on his car, we understand. So that nose cone will return, hopefully. Gave me about a heart attack. We lost one prototype leader, and we're about to lose another.
All right, so update. I'm just kind of trying to look through here. I mean, we are... we got another issue in turn 1. 00, Jimbo Pfeiffer. Oh, that's not where you want to be stopped.
Ooh, that was a prototype pointed perpendicular. That's
Say
not
that
the
3
normal one.
times. Oh, God, it caught the fence, too, or caught the wall just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. But
Well,
Pfeiffer's able to live another day.
Yeah. The Fife.
Guys, we have to take a second and talk about the big picture issue of what's happened here. Ulmer has had trouble, and so has Toma. Those were the fastest guys in their class. That is good news. This is where it gets strange. That is good news for the GT3 leaders, because the fast guys back there who are going to run those down, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get there now.
Another got a report of a wreck in 1 again, the 57 machine.
That was
It's
Herzog.
rolling now.
Mark Herzog spun a just in front of Brett Trozine, who was just coming out of the pits, actually in front of James Wyckoff. Had a good look at that one.
Yeah, he was coming around for a nice wide entry and squaring off the exit, and unfortunately found GT3 in exactly the line that he wanted. Took evasive action. No contact between them, thankfully. Here you see Herzog continuing on 27th overall. Yeah, typically, Bill, we talk about, the winner overall in these races tends to be someone who goes without issues, but a lot of our leaders in each class right now have had issues, and they're still leading.
It's almost a badge of honor at this point.
Yeah, well, I was feeling real good about the GT1's chances to get there when Toma was putting down those hop laps, and even Wyckoff. I was feeling really good about Ulmer having a chance to get there until he had his trouble. So now it all rests in another capable hands of Williams, though David Williams certainly capable of running these guys down.
And Cornette was looking strong. He had inherited the lead, then he spun. He's still holding it, though.
Cornette, I think, is going to... I'm not sure how long he's going to stay out. He's got 11-second lead on Rob Gall.
Jeff Stabnow having some issues. He's in no man's land. Looks like he spun himself all on his lonesome coming through the International Horseshoe and then had trouble finding the track again. He's 57th overall. Hopefully that changes a little bit for him as the race goes on. He is in the HPD.
So this race is 2 hours and 12 minutes. Am I right on that? Is that what that comes in, Brian? Is that what we talked
2
about?
hours, 24 minutes.
24 minutes. Okay. So when we get to an hour and 12 minutes, would that be halfway? So we're real close to halfway here?
Yeah, just about.
Well, I would have liked to see, now this is just some really raw math, I would have liked to see Williams not quite so many laps down right now. He is still four laps
5.
down. Yeah, still.
But these guys started, I want to say, about 13 laps down or thereabouts.
I didn't think it was that far. Maybe it was. That would be a good news if that was the number.
I'd have to go back. I think, actually, no, maybe it was closer to 10.
Yeah, I'm not able to rewind due to some issues, so I can't actually find out, but we'll see.
You'd have to ask us to do math, and we know that's a bad idea at GSRC.
Math is not our friends.
Math and names, our director code chimes in, so...
Molotashkinov isn't here, is he?
No, he is not. Marcus Armstrong is, and he is off into the access road on the Western Horseshoe. What happened to him?
Got on the binders. I don't think he got any help.
No, he did not. He was all by himself. And the Mercedes decided the rear end wanted to point forward.
Yeah.
Nicholas
what's the
Johnson.
expression to explain understeer and oversteer? Understeer is when the front of the car hits the wall, and oversteer is when the rear of the car hits the wall.
Exactly. Nicholas Johnson, one of our stewards, is saying no action on something, so they were investigating one of these mini incidents.
I mean, bravo to those guys. They're putting some work in.
Yeah, man, somebody buy them a pizza. Probably a beer would be more appreciated after this. Let's go to third place, though, because Bernie has now run down Bradley Haley. And he's got trouble. He might get pinned in. Uh-oh, and two HPDs coming up behind them.
To steal a line from Tanner Sharp. Clowns to the left, me jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle.
Manages to outbrake Haley down into there. We got two HPDs searching for a way through.
Wow.
Look at this mess.
Goodness
and
gracious.
They all got through. They're still trying to get through here. These HPDs are being beautifully patient in all of this mess. And to give names to where credit is due, that's Ryan Bird, who still got to work his way through. Steve Jones managed to get past that nastiness, and Michael Thompson as well led the way of those three guys.
More importantly, the lead overall and of GT3 is about to start getting real tight. Reynolds is running down Bennett.
I wonder if Bennett has enough damage that it's slowing him down. I don't think this is just a no tires call.
Well,
if that was the case.
I think you guys might be onto something there. Bennett's last lap was a 146.2 to Blake Reynolds' 144 flat.
You know what I think is happening here? If Bennett still has his spare car, he's trying to make it to the next pit stop.
Yeesh.
Still got about another 11 minutes before he can make it in and make it to the end without an extra stop.
Yeah. I was going to say probably 20 minutes, because that would put you at 50 minutes. Battle out for the 5th position, Brett Stevens. Oh, sorry. There we go. Clement.
Looks like Barnes and Thunhorst. We haven't talked about Thunhorst at all. He's been a quiet ride up to the top 5 at the moment. It's very rare that we talk about a quiet ride at any point in a Predator race.
Kept getting the names wrong because every time I'd go to look at the battle, my chiming and scoring would jump around.
Always obnoxious.
Yeah.
Right now, Thunhorst is doing a great job of holding off Brian Barnes. He's not able to make inroads on him.
Barnes and that popsicle machine, legendary. Almost known to see that blue machine floating around.
Let's see if he can float by Matthew at some point, but the 98 still retains the 5th position as they work their way through the Western Horseshoe. Oh, let's go to our lead. Bennett has been caught. Reynolds is now behind him. They're being lapped by an HPD. That's Jimbo Pfeiffer sneaking by, but now Reynolds, with the bit between his teeth and the speed in his favor, moves to the high side.
Swings it right where he likes to be passing people, right up there to the top side. Give this lap to Reynolds. Can he hold it down into turn one? He's had no issues. Oh, but look at Bennett fighting back on the inside, but did he blow the corner? Oh, they got to stop for a spun around HPD.
As Richie Hearn, who sneaks through.
Oh, wow, they got lucky because there's a GT3 stuck at the exit right there.
Tense moments, and Bennett somehow still holding on to that. I'm going back
But
to look
for
to
how
see what
much
happened
longer?
to Richie.
Reynolds back to the outside, but he's going to have the not preferred groove. He rolls into it, follows into the tire tracks of Bennett heading into the Western Horseshoe as they come up with a whole gaggle full of cars and traffic. Reynolds using the lap cars, or the other cars, as a pick is going to take the lead overall again.
Wonderful move. Reynolds finally back up into P1 after quite a fight. If we can find some time now, I don't know if we're clear here or not. Let's go to Chris Pence back down into turn one. He's the one that kicked off all the craziness, including Hearn, who we saw sideways. Pence is currently 25th overall.
Pence got hit by Ray Partridge, and then Hearns had to loop it around so that he wouldn't get caught in it.
Well, here's what's interesting. You're going to see here, if we can get back a little bit farther. Pence spun. Well, and yeah, see, you can. He tried to get going. He wasn't looking at his F3 box, and just drivers started plowing in. It was a traffic jam. Here, let's watch it one more time. I think Pence might be getting a penalty for this one.
Penalty or two, maybe.
See,
So
innocent spin.
I see,
He's
Joe,
doing
you're right,
nothing
yeah.
wrong right here, and then he tries to come in, and there's the HPD that's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's Partridge, and then that's Hearns that spins behind him in the yellow
Which you would think, where he spun off, he could have very easily thrown it in reverse, backed up a little bit, gotten a straighter angle out, and just gone.
You know as well as anyone, Brian, in the heat of the moment, your brain
doesn't
does
go in
not
reverse, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Easy
guys.
for me. I'm sitting here in the broadcast booth looking down.
Yes, always easier said than done in a Predator race.
From this angle, I've never done anything wrong.
I did a little math for you. The prototype started about 14 and a half minutes after the GT3s. At the halfway mark, Williams was about 8 minutes behind, so he didn't reach the halfway mark. He wouldn't be where I wanted to be. The same thing with the GT1s. They started about 6 minutes back. They were about 4 minutes back at the halfway mark. So I think the GT3s are looking real good right now.
Which is going to be music to the ears of Blake Reynolds. If the ride-in shotgun guys have any of their spotters listening to the broadcast, wonder if they're going to be getting on the radio to Blake to let him know what the situation is. And interestingly, Brian Bennett, despite losing a lot of time to Reynolds running him down, he hasn't dropped off by a lot. He's now 1 second back. Thunhurst.
Trostel has a problem too.
Thunhurst, did he have a problem? We were getting up a replay of something. Oh, he got punted from behind. You're going to see it here, coming down into turn 6 and HPD. Oh, the HPD thought he was going to get the outside. When you move in the braking zone, that's bad news. Oh, was that David Williams? That was his teammate.
Oh, that's awkward.
How much damage did he get on the nose after this? I want to go back live and get a close shot. Oh, just a slight bump. I don't think he might have got away with that. All right, let's look closely here on the live shot, see if we can figure out if he's got any damage. Ooh, yeah, that front splitter is just a little bent on the right side. That's going to hurt his top end. Meanwhile, Brandon Trossel is in. Is this an unscheduled pit stop?
Yeah, when I called that out, he was very slowly rolling through the grass down there by the First International Horseshoe.
Oh, this is a lot longer to... Oh, no, I thought we wouldn't be able to find it. This is into turn 1. Let's see. Apparently I
Amjad,
should not.
director extraordinaire.
Yeah, exactly. I've been warned not to doubt him. Wait, this is unusual. He just understeers off. This looks like mechanical failure.
Definitely has that look to it.
Watch this. Let's watch his wheel. Let's see if it just goes straight. Huh. Kind of glitches, actually. It's very difficult to tell, but it's like he stops steering for a moment and it nosedives into the Armco. Meanwhile, sounds like Bill has noticed something about Baby Fife.
Oh, I just got to give Jimbo some credit here. He is currently running 4th in class. He's got ahead of Paul Slavonic. He's got ahead of Richie Hearns. This guy it's the tortoise and the hare, man. He is just out there running laps, staying out of trouble, and not getting into any... And now he's in 4th ahead of some big-name guys. Hey, Ulmer is back in 3rd, Callisto in 2nd. Williams has about a 6-second lead, doing his best to put down hot laps. He's done the math. He knows he's got to get going if he has any chance of winning this overall.
So Williams trying to do his darndest to, take away this win. Oh, and apparently we're hearing some information that Trossel's monitors have been going black. That explains what happened there.
Sometimes I race that way so that my other senses get more attuned.
Wow. Oh, Kyle Burney. Big incident down into turn 6. Who is that?
Once again, he doesn't hit anything.
Is that Brian Grandin? Grandin
yeah.
is HPD.
Yeah, that was heading up towards Oval 1 and 2.
And
he's
Bernie's
angry about it.
Quick, yeah, he's quick to call to the stewards to ask for an investigation. Let's watch it from above.
Oh. Sorry, not laughing at that. I'm just they both got on the radio and protested each other.
Well, let's see what the replay says about it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. Bernie kind of came over.
Oh, I think the prototype was going straight. I think Bernie is... making a call from here, I think Bernie would get the blame for me.
Little difficult. I'm watching it one more time on my own personal replay, and that HPD did start to come to the left a little bit as well. It could be a little column A, a little column B here. And Bernie has come so close and done so well in a lot of recent races here in the Pac Majors. He's one of those bad luck drivers that you kind of want to see get that win. Don't want him to be the Nick Heidfeld of the Pac Majors here.
Well, you guys had no issues calling me the Nico Rosberg of the league I was in last year.
I called you the Nick Heidfeld of the league you were in, but everybody switched it to Nico Rosberg, so...
Oh, so they were trying to shelter my feelings. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Ah. Is that my safe space?
Driver in the safest space right now is Reynolds, as safe as you can possibly get in a Predator format race.
Nobody around
2-second
him.
lead.
Absolutely nobody around him. It's a 2-second lead out back. He's got no pressure out front. No HPDs making a run, dive at him. This is where, as you're coming through the tri-oval, you can just take your hand off the wheel, or at least one hand, and stretch a little bit. A little moment to relax.
I actually did that during the 24. There was a few times on the banking and whatnot, I would take a hand off the wheel and kind of stretch my fingers. This is a nice track for that. Tell you what, nice little battle for 7th going on in the GT3's Brett Stevens and Brandon Milner. These two very close together. Stevens got the run. He's got the draft.
Yeah, he's getting there. That blue machine, that's a really nice looking paint scheme on that machine. Trying to get up to Milner. It's close enough. Yeah, kind of like what you say. It's kind of close enough for the draft. Let's see if he takes that
I think he's got it this time.
line. He's going to swing it up to the top. He's getting there.
He's got the momentum.
Where does he go?
He lifts. I think he lifted.
Yeah, he's staying pretty flat, though, 170 miles an hour.
Well, if these guys... and Adam Young getting in some problems.
I don't know where that was, but by the sound of his voice, it happened fast.
We do need a replay of this one, and this involved one of our top GT3s. I don't think there was any contact. This was into the Western Horseshoe. All right, here he comes up on Haley. I think maybe he thought he could get a pass in here, that, or he outbraked himself. Look at this. Just narrowly avoids him. If he touches him, it's the slightest of touches. Both cars stay on track, and both cars continue.
I heard Ryan Bird wasn't too pleased with somebody else, too.
So next pit stop for Adam Young is going to have a change of underwear.
Yeah. We're under an hour left in this event, gentlemen.
A 2.4-hour race here. If you're just joining us, welcome to Daytona International Speedway. You're watching the Blackbird 2.4 hours of Daytona on the Global Sim Racing Channel, round 2 of the Pacific Majors. Blake Reynolds is your overall leader. This is a Predator format race, so this multi-class race is different from most. Top of the GT1 is currently Mitchell Cornett, 25th overall.
Remember how we were sorry to cut in there, Joe. Remember how we were just talking about, the two guys that protest each other? Bernie and the other guy?
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess who just got the drive-through?
Ooh.
Bernie.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Standing ovation for the race stewards on that one.
And we're hearing that Bernie actually is one of the stewards that makes calls.
I think when he looked at it, he would see it also. You can't tell when you're in the car what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. No. Well, right now, Bernie's actually a little bit side by side. This is with lap traffic. AJ Clark, now he gets by him. Pretty soon, he's going to have to come in for that drive-through.
I wanted to point out that while you guys were doing those replays, Williams got a lap back. So he's now 3 laps and 11 donuts out of a dozen back. Kalisto is about 2.5 seconds ahead of Ulmer now, who has nobody between him and Kalisto, and Ulmer is closing that pretty quick. That's for second in the prototypes. Williams still out there racing really fast.
Ulmer just cannot seem to catch a break. We haven't really seen him put a foot wrong too much in this race, and yet his own hardware works against him. We've seen that before, but oh, goodness.
I just heard Thurnhorst say, what a gaggle.
Yeah, he's in the mix of a couple dozen cars here. Well, not a couple dozen, but half a dozen.
Something must have happened to Paul Slavonic. He was having a good run. He was running in 5th. He's falling back. Let's see if I can find out what happened to him.
Hearing that Slavonic had a 150 on the last lap, though.
Oh, I found it. He got into it in the bus stop. This was on his lap 43. So that was 2 laps ago. We might not be able to go that far back and get that one. Amjad, our director, is going back. This uncharted territory. See if he can find this one.
All right. This is, if this is correct, this is coming onto the backstretch here.
We'll be right in the bus stop. I think this might be
it. Was that Ulmer that he was almost running into? It was a green HPD. And Ulmer's in different colors. That's what threw me off. I'm not sure who that was he nearly got into, but very close moments. Watch this from above. Saw it coming, tried to get on the binders, and then I think that's Adam Young taking to the grass to get by him.
And Pfeiffer has had an issue. Did we?
I just heard him say a GT3 ran into him in the braking zone.
Well, I'll give the GT3 a name. Ernie Ludwig got him. And yeah, that's what I saw too there, Jimbo.
Ernie Ludwig van Beethoven?
Ludwig, we're not sure where you were going there.
His name is not music to his ears at the moment. Let's look at the replay, see if we can... Oh, we don't have a replay on that one. I'm going back and investigating. No, I think Jimbo might be the cause of that one, actually. I'm going to watch it again.
I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
Where was Ludwig going there?
Yeah, it looks like Ludwig slightly outbraked himself. He was starting to go a little bit wide.
Check
Honestly,
yourself
though, if I
before you
was Jimbo, I would have given a little bit more space.
That's too bad he was having... I'm not saying commentator's curse on that one. That was farther enough back that I was clear on that, but he was having a good race.
Is there anybody that we haven't put a curse on yet tonight?
One time Sean Ambrose and I were talking about Arnold Palmer, and as soon as the race was over, we heard that he passed away. That one was...
How many celebrities did you guys talk about in 2017 or 2016? Because if you killed one, I'm not going to put it past you.
I still think I might hold the worst case of commentator's curse ever. I ran a Champions Motorsport broadcast. Amjad knows. I can already hear him laughing. Victor Tanaka, I remember the guy's name. Victor Tanaka had a huge lead. Absolutely was destroying him. And I said to Richard Losper, the only thing that could go wrong with him would be as if he wrecked. Not sooner did that sentence leave my mouth that he spun off the last straightaway.
We got to go to Lionel Kalisto. I saw this happening for a while. Sorry, talk about... this is right behind him. Yeah, this is all involved.
Palmer.
We're going to watch Kalisto's replay, and then we got to go to John Ulmer.
Well, no, it's all the same. It's all the same wreck.
AJ Clark. Oh, it's almost... AJ Clark.
AJ Clark.
Wide.
In the turn we are in is
I think we're seeing it right here.
Oh.
Just stay with it. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, if you go to Kalisto, you'll see the start of this.
Clark gets second and third prototypes in one shot.
Whoa,
oh, wow.
Kalisto.
He actually cut the kink there. I didn't see that before. All right, we're going to watch onboard Ulmer, see if we can see this cutting of the kink here. There you can see that car on the left. Oh, we started just after it. And then the wreck started to happen. Had no time to react. He just got on the brakes, skidded to a stop. I think he minimized the damage.
My 2 cents is I think you got to put blame on that 13.
Yeah, that GT3 car was just a little wide there.
Little?
How about go to Ulmer right now? I believe this is. You want to talk about irony? He is sharing a pit stall with the car he got involved in.
Oh boy. Thanks, Alanis Morissette.
There you go.
It's like rain on your wedding day.
So many of our top drivers just can't seem to get away without getting into trouble in this race. Meanwhile, Matthew Thunhorst is currently battling for third, or is he? No, once again, he's making a fool of us and backing out of it. I did notice, I think Bennett came in and out for his second stop. Where did he come out? He was in 10th.
13 was assessed a drive-through penalty just a second ago.
Had an insult to injury after coming in to get his car repaired.
Brian, you and I are on fire today. Calling these.
This is fun. It's like pulling the pin. It's like if a grenade had 2 pins and you pulled it on either end. And Kalisto gets a warning for cutting the horseshoe. Or not?
No, he was for cutting the kink, actually.
The kink, yeah. I was thinking kink. I was looking at Reynolds and he was in the horseshoe and
Well, right now coming out of the horseshoe, Milner and Stevens in a tight battle. This is for 5th position. Stevens just stalking behind him, and Trevor Clement is in there as well.
Joe, do you think that warning for cutting the kink, would that be for gaining speed or just being a dangerous thing to do? What would be your guess?
Can I say both?
Okay.
He was, getting somewhere in a hurry, but you don't have to be in that much of a hurry.
Yeah.
You got to play by the rules. The track limits are there.
in terms of a cell phone reception comparison, that was a 1-bar maneuver.
I like that. I'll have to remember that. All right, these guys are split up just a little bit, unfortunately, in the battle for 5th. And actually, that's Kalisto going by. That's the driver just got a warning.
And Ulmer is coming back in for a second time. That's not a good sign. I was hoping he could come in and get everything sorted out on that first stop.
And he's back in with the 13th.
Yep.
Making friends.
Pit crews are having a discussion.
Brett Stevens back up to Milner once again. We watch Brian Barnes still in third, trying to hold off Thunhorst.
Oh! There's something going on.
Armstrong.
Marcus Armstrong. I just caught it. I was watching Kalisto go around. And I watched Armstrong get up, basically up into the air.
Just right in front of Milner and Brett Stevens there.
Yeah, watch his car take a big old smack. Wow! Violent force up against the concrete barrier. No tires there to save him. Let's watch on board.
And all that shuffle, too. I believe Bennett is pitted. Fuel only?
Bennett was in for a long time, 1 minute and 6 seconds. So that feels like a full. That feels like everything.
Well, okay, so my timing and scoring is lying to me.
Armstrong taking some lessons from Scott Pruitt on his line there.
Well, you say
he's
hi to
still
his
trying
family?
Boy, Joe, that
Make
did
it-
look exactly like the Pruitt crash, didn't it?
Because he didn't say hi to his family before the race.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Armstrong's he's trundling around. He's taking a long time to get back to his pit stall. He's going through the grass. Ooh, had a close moment trying to get through 6. Jimbo Pfeiffer weaves by.
And here comes overall leader Blake Reynolds. Swinging it
Barnes.
way high.
Barnes is into his stall. 47 minutes yet to go. If you want to get to the end, now you are pretty safe, I'd say, in the GT3 class.
Yeah, I would say that's a safe bet. I guess here's the question. If you're Blake Reynolds, his first stop was 30 seconds or so? 64? No, he took tires the first time, so he can just gas it up and go.
If he's willing to risk it, though, that's over an hour on the same tires.
I'm going to quickly go to Mitchell Cornett for a minute just to give a tip of the hat to what Rob Gall is doing. Gall has been running him down this entire stint. Now remember, I think Cornett is either out there, either short filled or he didn't take tires.
Reynolds,
but Gall
Reynolds
is
to pit
coming.
road. Just talked about it. Here's Reynolds on pit road. Let's see
right.
here. Hits the box.
That's Barnes heading out that we just saw squeal out of his pit stall. Is he going to go up on the jacks?
It's a big fuel tank that needs to get filled up first.
Well, this should be his short stop, shouldn't it?
See, he's been on there. We're coming up to 30 seconds.
Oh no, and Kyle Birdie,
Oh,
who was so strong in the first half of the race.
from bad to good to bad to worse.
See what happened here. Did he get some help? No, that was Bernie's doing.
And Blake Reynolds is still on pit road, so he's throwing 4 fresh feel goods at that thing.
All right.
Rob
So-
Gall has it down to now on just about a second. He's coming. He's going to have a pass for the lead here in
Reynolds-
just a second in GT1.
Reynolds is away.
A lot of traffic for Gall to have to deal with here.
That's
He's
Cornett
worked-
out in front in that yellow machine or whatever, that citrus-colored flavor. Now Gall is clear. Now there's the prototype involved and they're coming along, but I don't think that'll be an issue.
Yeah, that's just David Williams. Still our leader in the HPDs. He's going to be able to get by.
Let's see if Gall tucks in behind Williams, sees he can get a tow here.
I'm pretty sure he will be. And remember, Williams knows that he can get a big tow from these GT1 cars as well. We've seen him and other drivers employ that over on the Autobahn series a number of times. Sneaks down to the inside, is going to take the apron.
If Gall doesn't get him into turn 1, he's going to get him next time around. Oh, I think here he comes.
He's got the run. He's got the momentum. Up to the high side goes Gall. Starts to stall out a little bit as he hits that big old puff of air. And not this time. Rob Gall stays in second in the Corvettes.
Now, if I'm on the box for Gall, I'm saying just relax, take it easy through the twisty sections, through both the horseshoes, get him next time around on the oval. It'll be done and dusted.
All right.
Those cars both still need to make their second stop. They're currently one lap down.
Now, if I'm seeing correctly, do you guys have 2 pit stops for Clark Archer in the GT3s? He's sitting in third.
Yeah, that's 2 pit stops.
Oh, but we're getting information that his second pit stop was a long time ago, potentially here. So he may be off strategy. He might have to stop yet one more time. If that's the case, he's definitely not in contention for the win.
Let's go back to Cornette here as he's about to be gobbled up. In fact, he actually looks like he's moving out of the way and going to give it.
Gall's got the inside down to the bus stop. No, he's not giving it up. He holds on. Now he gets out of it.
There's a car stopped on the entrance to turn 1, 32 machine.
Ooh, Kyle Burney has another incident. This is in the bus stop, it looks like. Oh no, this is on 6. Oh, this time I think he did make some contact. Kyle Murphy. Did Murphy get loose and get into him, or vice versa? Ooh, Murphy, I think, was turning down from what I'm seeing. Well, let's watch from above, see if we can figure this out. What's your call on this, Brian?
I'll watch it again. Let's not take this one in.
This is an unusual place to hit.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like that other machine, Murphy was wiggling, and the natural slope of that corner kind of took him up there. I'm glad I'm not a steward. That's my call.
Yeah, that's a hard one to call. Poor Bernie, man. Just cannot get away from it this time. And just to confirm what we were talking about before, Clark Archer pits from third place. He's going to slip down the order with his third pit stop of the day, unscheduled.
And this is the point where we have 8 cars now on the lead lap.
And John Ulmer with big contact just about 30 seconds ago. Side by side with Richie Hearn. Was this lap traffic, actually? This was not for position, I don't think.
Well, Hearn, I would think Hearn and Ulmer should be... No, Ulmer's going to be way down because of all those stops.
Here we go, coming down into turn 1. This had to be very scary for Ulmer coming in here. Gets a punt, hits one wall, hits the other wall. He's able to keep going, though. Let's watch on board. I've had this happen myself down into turn 1 where you just glance that first inside wall. Watch this.
Yeah, not much you can do when they turn down India.
Absolutely. And at that point, Brian, you are just a passenger into turn 1. He's probably barely put the brakes on, if at all.
Oh, no, you just lock the brakes down and hope for the best.
And Ulmer did get on the radio to ask the stewards to take a look at that one.
Well, Ulmer's a lap
Beltrami.
behind. Okay, I guess.
Beltrami is lost. There he goes.
All right, he's coming in to get that damage repaired. That might be net coat on his front, though, because I'm seeing his nose on my screen, and we're not getting it on the broadcast. And we've got an interesting call from our director here on Archer. He thinks that he forgot to load his race setup, so maybe he didn't have race fuel in there. As I like to say, Brian, rookie mistake.
Uh-huh.
To what, Brett Stevens all over the back of Archer now, though, making him pay for that third pit stop. Could potentially demote him down to 10th. They just overtook Smitty, who's multiple laps down. He's just going to hang behind these guys. He has no goose in this battle.
Let me just top off what's going on in the prototypes. Hearns is running third right now in the prototypes, behind Williams and Kalisto. Slavonic is back to running fourth.
Slavonic, we remember, had some issues of his own.
Right, he had that issue in the bus stop.
Yes, he is indeed fourth.
Now the leader coming in the GT1s. That would be Rob Gall.
Ooh, and Cornette has jumped him. He's taking it back. And I think
this is
Richie Hurd is getting a penalty.
And having a discussion about it.
Never a good idea to argue with the stewards.
No,
doesn't
generally doesn't work out.
But Richie said he is serving it, so he didn't argue too hard.
In his defense, he's running third and a lap up. That would be my only thing, was you think he'd get a little more love.
Yeah, I can understand that one. But I will say, I know that if anytime I'm in an endurance race, if I'm the faster car and I see I'm the car lap ahead and the car behind me is much faster, I know that I have no fight with him. I just let him through. I'm like, well, there's no point in holding this guy up that's got 2 laps down on me.
So with 37 minutes left in this event, Bradley Haley is your overall GT3 leader and overall leader. Blake Reynolds second, Bryant Bennett third, and then you got Thornhorst there in the 4th position. Let's see here. The next not GT3 is Stowe, if I'm seeing my timing and scoring right there, Soup.
This is a little bit mixed up, though, because Thunhorst and Haley are yet to take their second stop. Same thing with Workman.
I was just trying to see here because even the vets. So look at Aaron Stowe. His last lap was a 142. Keeps moving around on me. Nope, hold on. It was a 144, which is the same as Haley.
See, I want to point out now, let's go to David Williams right now. He's currently running 24th overall. He's accomplished 1 goal. He's got past Cornette.
This is true.
Now, he still has a stop to make, though. Cornette has made both of the stops. Williams still, unless my timing is scoring, might be off because I had to reset. So
I'm seeing one
stop
one
as well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, GT1 giving us a nice battle. We mentioned Williams just going by, but Mitchell, Cornette, Rob Gall, James Wyckoff, all together throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, here's the deal. I can't imagine that Wyckoff or that Cornette's car is going to have anything for those 2. I thought he took a short stop the first time. I'm sure he must have taken tires somewhere in there, but here comes Cornette is getting around. That's the lap car he's going around?
That is. Yes. That's the car Scott Gruber.
Right. So here comes Gall. I think the guy that's on fire here is Wyckoff, assuming Wyckoff has taken both stops. Let me double check.
Yeah, I'm seeing actually 3 stops on mine. So
yeah. I think Wyckoff could be the guy. I don't think any of these guys have legs to get up to the GT3 leaders.
Yeah, these Corvettes are currently 3 laps down from our overall leader still. David Williams 2 laps down. The HPD could still maybe do it.
Right. Here we go.
Battle for the lead, Gall and Cornette. Gall to the outside and the black machine. Cornette on the inside and the red and yellow. He's still got the desirable line, powering around the outside, trying to find the grip. Can Gall do it? He does. Power move. Oh,
no,
he's
doesn't.
loose.
He was loose for 15 seconds before that happens. He got off on the grass into one, and he fought it the whole way.
And that hands second place to Wyckoff, who slips one more position up.
Now he's got Cornette in his sights. Nobody between them.
Let's see what Wyckoff can do. Can he get this position away? They're in equal cars. This is different from the other classes chasing one another. He's going to have to play him like an instrument.
Just looking.
Man, a car stopped coming on the oval. Was that Marcus Armstrong, perhaps? Yes, it was. Okay, Marcus Armstrong. Well, this was quite a few laps ago that this happened. He got loose coming, or not quite a few laps ago, quite a few corners ago is what I meant. He was coming through the kink, he got a little bit loose, and he took to the escape road on the Western Horseshoe. That's such a big cut of the course. He basically had to pull off and just creep his way around for a long ways.
Williams is on pit road.
And just going by, we have a pass for the lead in the GT1s. Here comes Wyckoff on the outside.
Gall watching, saying that's what I wanted to do, but it's not over yet. He's going to try and mimic the move. He's having trouble getting power down. They're still side by side. It's difficult to do this through that little kink, and it's Cornette that doesn't have the guts to keep in the power as Wyckoff gets past, but he's got to hold on to the spot. He goes wide through the International Horseshoe, and he's got it.
And dumping into second. Cornette is battling now with or Gall is back in there with Cornette. Gall gets that second spot.
Those two nearly made contact coming out of the International Horseshoe as well, but like you said, Gall coming out on top into second place. Wyckoff, the big winner of everything, now leading his class, and now that David Williams has pitted, he's back ahead of the HBDs and he's back in the game. In fact, Williams is coming out just now, and he's got basically the entire infield to try and catch back up to these Corvettes.
41 seconds from the leader of the GT1s, the leader of the P1s.
In just about 2 minutes' time, we're going to have 30 minutes left to go in this 2.4-hour race.
And still waiting for Haley to make a stop. Am I correct on that in the lead?
That's from what I can tell, yeah. He's got a 41-second gap over Blake Reynolds.
Jeff Stabnow had a moment that maybe we want to get on board of Adam Young. My goodness. Maybe about 30 seconds back here. See if we can ride on board Adam. Stabnow has a moment. See, he's cutting the track, but then he comes right back on.
My, oh my.
Quick hands from Adam Young to see that unfolding. Would have been so easy for Instinct to take him to the outside of the bus stop, but here, watch this. Why did he come back on there? Boy, Stabnow, buddy, you gotta just continue on through there. You can't come back on the bus stop. Well, both of them managed to live to fight another day.
Let's go look at Rob Gall. He got into the back of, who did he get into the back of? I'm blinking out here. Was it? I heard him say, "Sorry, James." It might have been Wyckoff. It's in the International Horseshoe. No, it's not. It's after the kink. It's in the Western Horseshoe.
What happened? Oh, it was an HPD that got to the inside of Bruce Snelson. This all kicked off with Snelson having to slow up. That caused James Wyckoff to slow up. And then we'll see from onboard Gall. He He just did not realize what was going to be happening. That allowed him to get past Wyckoff because he actually turned him. You'll see here.
Yeah. That's a sorry that I may actually accept. A lot of times you say sorry and you can take your sorries and stuff them in a sack, but that one, you know, I was off pace. I understand what happened there. So Cornette back out in front.
My goodness. Cornette wasn't even involved in that incident.
No, remember he was out in front and the two guys passed him, and then all about timing.
Oh, Chris Pence there trying to go completely off track to let the GT1 leader through there.
So now Cornette has well, let me see. I got to make sure I go back to the right. Yeah, it looks like maybe about 4 or 5 seconds to Gall now. And Wyckoff is, he's back a ways.
Yeah, that really set him back. That's not going to make James very
Haley
happy.
on pit road.
All right, overall leader finally coming in. He had about a 40-second lead before.
I'm wondering if the plan was to run that fuel tank as long as he could handle it and short fill it.
I think that's exactly what's going on.
I looked at him. He took a full stop last time. It looked like he took tires and everything. I think he's just going to put in fuel and get out there.
Now, where's Reynolds?
If
Reynolds
Haley,
is in the western horseshoe, and he's out. He's going to have it.
Yeah, Haley did not take tires critically. Reynolds now coming just past pit entrance. Is he going to get this? He's got to come on out and exit. Oh, this is very, very tight.
There's Reynolds. He's close enough to get there. Who's going to get the run?
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go, boys.
Side
Reynolds
by
is
side.
there.
Down into the
Reynolds
international
has fresh
horseshoe.
tires. Yeah.
And Reynolds, you said he had fresh tires, correct?
Yep.
Oh, this is
fresher than Haley's, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think Haley is going to have anything for Reynolds at this point. It was a valiant effort, but without the track position, there is nothing doing.
Right now, Blake Reynolds is singing "So Long, Farewell, Avitas, and Goodbye."
Well, he is in the infield, though. Here's the thing. Haley could grab onto the draft here.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to matter a whole hill of
never
beans.
mind. Those fresh tires coming out of turn 6, Reynolds just shot away.
So
and
I guess
Haley is not close enough.
So with just under 27 or just over 27 minutes left in this one, it's looking pretty good for Reynolds. I mean, nothing faster than him is on the lead lap, and the closest competitor is Mitchell Cornette 2 laps down.
Yeah, I
something
think
very faster.
I think the question is going to be if Haley can fend off Bennett, who's about 9 seconds back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find that one out, because we know Bennett's car is strong. Oh, Carl Burke getting upset about something.
Should note that actually Mitchell Cornette is about to go to 1 lap down. He's not too far behind our leader in GT3s.
Yeah, but it's going to take a heroic effort to make back a lap in 20. Well, basically, I mean, if you think about it, make up 2 laps in 26 minutes.
Absolutely, and especially with Haley and Bennett so close behind him. Even if Reynolds has a mistake, there's still other cars to take his place. So yeah, you're right.
Now, with 26 minutes to go, this is where it gets fun, Brian, if you haven't done one of these before. David Williams right now, we're going to say he's 25th overall, but he's going to start picking up positions left and right now as he starts going through all the cars, all the GT3s, all the GT1s that are ahead of him.
Well, right now he was balked by Mike Taylor down through the International Horseshoe. That's going to halt his progress momentarily. He's trying to put a lap on this HPD. This is not for position. Goes the long way around. Always risky to do in case that car locks up. And Taylor is certainly not making it easy on our HPD leader.
Now next up for William, actually he's going to have James Wyckoff in 23rd. He's going to get Ernie Ludwig in 22nd. 2 more spots for him.
And Haley is dropping off quick already, almost 2 seconds back from Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, it's
So-
not going to be long before it's a feeding frenzy to the back of that rear bumper.
Sometimes, Bill, you have to take a gamble and strategy, and sometimes that gamble does not pay off.
Oh, I don't think he had. If he took tires, what's he going to do? He's going to finish third. I think he's going to get out in front of Thirnhorst. So I don't think there's anything lost here. Right now, he's running second with almost a 9-second lead to Bennett, and he can have a little fun and get GSRC to put the camera on him.
Boy, only his third official race in the Pacific Majors, and he's already managed to do that quite a bit. Made a big splash. Actually, no, excuse me, his fourth, I believe, because he was at the Bathurst race as well. His very first race at Road Atlanta, nearly won the thing. Everybody turned their heads at that one. And then Bradley Haley made his name known from there.
Now, right behind Haley, this is Hearns. Hearns might be in a battle with Thompson. This is for position in the prototypes.
It is. Now, someone was getting on the radio pretty upset.
Oh,
See
it's
who.
Ryan Bird, and he has a reason to be angry.
Let's look and see what happened to the bird. Oh,
Yeah,
all right,
not
we're going to
sure.
see it here.
No, that's Brandon Milner. I'm not sure where Milner was going there.
Yeah, here we'll see it right here.
I guess he's trying to get to the outside to get a good entrance into the bus stop, right?
You know what? I think he was so focused on watching Brandon Grandin go by, he was going to take the normal racing line. And like I said, he's not getting a blue flag here. So he did not know that Bird was coming up. And there's drivers getting on there telling him there are mirrors on your car.
Yeah, I think you could. I'm not saying he was right to do what he did, but I think you could make a case there, Joe, of what you just talked about. I mean, you're not being shown the blue flag, so you don't expect the closing rate to be that fast.
Oh, and these HPDs on GT3s, I can tell you from experience, they fly up to you.
Hey guys, point the camera at Bradley Haley. He's about to have a whole world of issues.
All right, behind him.
Yeah.
That's Tom Dreiling.
So you look at
Mitchell
it right
Cornett.
here, and you're like, okay, that's fine. HPD, Corvette, HPD.
David Williams gets by cleanly in the infield. Dreiling in a GT1. No, excuse me, he's in a Mercedes. He's in the GT3 class.
Oh yeah, yep.
So he's not going to catch him quickly. He's given him just a little bit of a respite before Cornett is able to work by. Cornett is still our GT1 leader.
And this is a battle for position. This is Burke and Jones and Taylor, I think all prototypes battling for a spot, running 24th, 42nd, 43rd, and 44th overall.
Oh, look at this. 3 wide on the banking. You can do this if everyone behaves and they get through clean. They've got an HPD saying, forget that. I'm going all the way down to the flat.
That was Steve Jones going down to the apron.
And look at this. Everybody still manages to sort it out by the time they get to the bus. This is beautiful teamwork by all different classes there. That's experience that you're seeing. These drivers have mostly run these Predator events in that group, and they made it work.
And 44 after that, yep, Milner getting a drive through, and he didn't even fight it. He just said, yep.
That was a pretty clean-cut case.
Well, Haley got through that hornet's nest.
He still has Brian Bennett, the other GT3 driver who was in contention for a win early on. Tried to run him down.
I just happened to glance at that one and went, ooh, okay.
Williams has got another lap back.
And he is past the GT1 leader. Overall, we got a car on the side of the road. That's Brett Trocine.
Ooh. That kind of looked like a loop off right there.
Let's check. There's an interesting little incident there. It looks like he tried to go the long way around, and maybe the marbles got him there. You can see on the replay, he's trying to go the outside of a GT3, and that just didn't work.
Well then.
Somebody will have to rewind the GSRC replay I can't remember what position I told you Williams was in when we talked about it, but now he's up to 16th.
25th, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right. That's in fact, that's where he was. So now he is still a lap down.
We're getting some information. I'm told to hang on here. Oh, never mind. This was in regards to other stuff. Oh, incident happened in front of these guys.
Yep.
Wayne Hutchison sneaking by. And that was Claude Belval getting clobbered.
Trostel, I think, got him as he went by. Brandon Trostel.
All right, Claude started to lose it on his own. Oh, and he's... You're going to see here, just starts to accelerate forward. You got traffic coming. You cannot do that.
You can't do that. Brandon, I'll say it for you, Brandon. You can't do that.
Let's watch on board Claude here.
I think the car, maybe give one more shot, it would be Trostel behind him. He's the guy who... And there it is. You can see him right there. Yeah.
51's angry at somebody.
Chad Barker
Ernie
barking
Ludwig.
out.
Ernie, oh my goodness. Let's go to Ernie Ludwig. And
that was with Chad Barker. Oh, wow.
that's just my goodness.
And Barker got stuck into the Armco. This is a violent wreck if I've ever seen one. Did not expect him to stay low like that, and then they can break very late, so... That caused Barker to have to take a tow, not helping his case.
Yeah, Ernie, I'm not sure about your racing line there.
But this is the most critical I think we've ever been on a GSRC broadcast.
Well, you got the prototype coming up behind. It's almost like you were taking the defensive line. I guess maybe he's holding his line.
I know, there is a relative box and there is mirrors. It's pretty, I mean, I get it, you're not getting the blue flag, but it still doesn't take a whole lot of effort and focus to glance at that relative. Look at that Ferris wheel.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Isn't that pretty?
I've ridden on that actually. It's a beautiful
You went on that because I told you to. I remember that last year. I texted you. Hey,
I had plans to go on it anyways. All right, as we watch our overall leader, Blake Reynolds, he's got a 7-second lead over Haley. Well, Haley, he got about 5 seconds over Bennett. That's not the case anymore. 2 seconds between second and third place.
Yeah, that's about Haley's about to understand the phrase "sitting on the hot stove and sweating ice water."
But Bennett's got traffic to work through.
Oh,
whoa! Who is that?
Had a big wiggle.
Claude Belval. Once again, driver who spun and got hit pretty hard down in turn 1.
Contact there. The white Mercedes. 56 getting a drive-through penalty. Claude Belval.
And he's out now asking for what? So I guess he hadn't been listening to our broadcast. He's arguing with the stewards now, and we've said that's not going to go well.
Drilling,
I think. Tom Drilling put it in the bus stop.
And Belval spins out again.
Well, actually, just past the incident
Oh.
Yeah. And Drayling's was a bit... It was his own fault, but he had a little help, sort of.
Somebody else spun off the International Horseshoe. Was the Audi, I believe? Can't quite catch up to it, but...
Boy, everything is kicking off. Tom was stuck for quite a while, but let's go to second because that battle is on. Bennett has caught Haley. He's going to try to pass him in the infield. Haley could still try and use the draft to stay with him afterwards. Could be easier to just slingshot by. Haley drifts a little bit wide through the Western Horseshoe. Bennett still stalking him.
He wiggled at the exit of the West Horseshoe. Now he has to deal with Bennett. that car just is not happy. You can tell it's not going where he wants it to be. Here comes Bennett to the inside as they work up through Daytona's 1 and 2.
Haley gave that turn 6 apex a miss, and Bennett does not need to be asked twice. But look at this. Now Haley has the draft. He's coming back at him. He could maybe try and attempt to pass if he wants to be aggressive.
Yeah, but right now it's going to be trying to cut with a butter knife through steak. It's just not going to quite get there. I mean, yeah, it's not going to work, Amjad. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We had
Fine,
we
it's
confused our director here.
Just go back to Sound of Music lyrics. It'll be good.
All right. It's like remixing Michael Jackson with Madonna. You could do it, but why?
He's closing back in.
I'm telling you, it's not going to go good for him.
Well,
Take it from the driver.
He's got 14 minutes to go. He knows that if he wants second place, he's got to go for
who's
it.
that up there? It's the 31, I think.
That's Rob Gall.
Which that
Third.
checkup, Bennett had to check up a little bit. That's going to move Haley back. Bennett kind of blows the corner. Here comes Haley on the inside again, but I just think that the tire difference is going to be too much to overcome.
And this is where it's really going to show as well in this infield where he doesn't have the draft to help him as much. And you can already see he's starting to drop back away from that car. Well, that's if Bennett doesn't keep blowing these corners. He goes wide once again.
Yeah, but he's up about 7 car lengths, so the draft isn't going to mean a whole lot here. Because now Haley is going to get swarmed up with a vet and a HPD.
All right, so when did Williams get his lap back last here? Because right now, he's a lap down with 13 minutes to go.
Well, I can even give you a little more than that. He is 2 minutes and 38 seconds behind.
Oh.
All right, Bill, you managed to do the math before. If we leave you alone, can your abacus handle this?
I don't have to. No, he cannot make up. Although I've been fooled by these HPDs before, what they can do, but 12 minutes left. No.
Bill just had that scene in A Beautiful Mind where all those numbers appear out of the sky and.
You should see, right? I have like yarn tied to all this stuff going around. Yeah.
Oh, the eccentric Bill's on, ladies and gentlemen. So we ride on board Williams up on the banking. He's going to put another lap on Matthew Thunhorst here, or at least gain another lap back, we should say. Their 4th place GT3 driver. And car 51 is getting a penalty.
Bradley Haley has bigger issues.
I think he's okay though. Did he slap it off the wall? Maybe. Boy, he fought that car.
Down into turn 1 he goes.
Just kind of wiggled. Yeah, it's just he's got no hope there. Chad Barker left the session with a few passing words.
He was the one that received a penalty. Remember, he was the one that got into the back of I'm trying to remember the GT3 driver, and then got himself stuck in the Armco. So he felt he was done a little bit wrong. I can kind of understand that one.
Yeah, I get it.
Remember, we talked about that GT3 car holding a very unusual line. But we will not question the steward's decision on that one. That is their call alone. They have a lot more time than we do to really study that.
They really do. Good news for Bradley Haley after that spin. He had a giant cushion of about 40 seconds back to Matthew Thornhurst. Now it's 27 seconds, so he can probably spin one more time.
Brian's been saying that before, so we don't want to tempt that one.
Yeah, well, let's not. He just wants to finish these next 10.5 minutes. Oh, just over 10.5 minutes. Just keep the car pointing the right direction.
I got to talk about Mitchell Cornett here. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I thought he was getting run down, but he actually gained a position as he went around David Baker. He's still holding a nice lead over Wyckoff, who's trying to run him down. Cornett, I'm not sure if he ever took tires. I guess he must have somewhere. I hope he comes in for an interview. I'd like to talk to him.
We'll see if we can get all 3 class leaders in post-race. We'll try. Can't make any promises.
And remember, he's currently running in 18th overall, but that's 100 points for winning the class. So that's going to be big.
Nice haul, absolutely. Blake Reynolds is still our overall leader. We haven't taken a look at him in a while. He's leading by 7 seconds now over Bennett instead of Haley.
There's a reason that we're not looking that way. Soup and I kind of hinted at it. I'm not talking about it.
David Williams has now moved up into 12th position. Sounds like we've had a nice little battle between Snelson and Gruber. What position is this for? 13th spot, just behind David Williams, actually. They haven't been able to do anything with this. About a second between them. Remember, Bruce Snelson was involved in an incident a little bit earlier where he got a little bit of contact, had to slow up for an HPD in the kink, and that caused a checkup, big old checkup, in the Western Horseshoe. He's still able to continue, though. He is in the GT3s. He's actually 13th in class, 14th overall. Oh, did something happen to Hearn?
Oh, Hearn has had that one he did on his own. I don't think he hit anything.
Bernhorst is mad at somebody too.
Go and try and find that after this. And Richie managed to not hit anything. Nice job locking him up.
It has been a long 2.4 hours for him.
He filed a protest on somebody. I couldn't quite catch who, but
I think Thunhorst was upset with how some of the traffic was trying to get by him. That's all I can see in the replay here.
yeah, unless there's something more back that I didn't quite catch, but
Well, it cost him a couple seconds in his chase of Bradley Haley.
7 minutes to go, folks. It is getting down to the wire here. And Blake Reynolds has an entire lap over David Williams, who is the next class down. Bill, I don't think we need the calculator.
No, this is one of the ones, usually they get this pretty darn close. This one they kind of missed a little bit on.
Well, I don't think they missed so much. We saw lots and lots and lots of incidents with our top contenders. Usually in the case.
In the GT1s and the GT3s, I agree.
Oh, even in the GT3s, we saw that as well.
Well, in all of them. I mean, Ulmer was running away with this until he had his, sorry, John, traditional moment. But he was flying, so he had a shot to get there.
GT1s have spun. They've made contact with one another. GT3s have spun off, made contacts with other classes. Reynolds has had trouble. Bennett has had trouble. Haley has had trouble. Those are our top 3 over there.
Kalisto's always fast. He ran into trouble.
Williams has had trouble. Yeah, this is, man. I think that's really been the determining factor. It's not that they got the math wrong. It's that there is so many more question mark moments in this race than what we've seen in past Predator races, which is incredible to say. Usually there's plenty of them.
But the new scoring system, Mike Willett, I approve. This is a little fair this way.
Yes, I agree.
David Williams is going to get 100 points. It's kind of like a midterm and a final. You got two scoring systems for you. In your class is half your grade, and then where you finish overall is half.
David Williams is going to gain another position. He's now up to 11th overall. He overtakes Brandon Milner. At this point, I'd say that David's just trying to get as many overall spots as he can. He's probably aware he can't take this win at this point.
All points.
Exactly. Next up is going to be Beltrami. He's definitely going to get him within time. I'm thinking 7th is possible for Williams.
Does he have a chance to get back on the lead lap? Oh, I think he does.
Yeah, Reynolds is a few seconds up the road, just going through the International Horseshoe, and now Williams is getting there now. Whoa! And as I say that, that doesn't help his cause, as Williams has another underwear changing moment.
Just drifted it a little bit. He's fine.
HPD drift, Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully more Vin Diesel than Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Oh, that was...
But he overtakes Bob Beltrami. I think we've offended our director with that one.
Somebody just blew an engine. Let's see if I can find
I just heard we're screwed, so I'm assuming that you and I are probably finding the same thing.
No, that was in response to David Williams. He got on the radio and said, someone got the math wrong.
Oh.
So that's what the "we're screwed" was in reply to.
See, they didn't carry the one, or they didn't borrow Soup's abacus.
Hey, Kyle Burney on Trevor Clement. This is a battle going on for 8th place. Burney's going to look to the inside. I think he might be able to get this one done. Looking a lot stronger on the brakes, and he's got it done. Clement slips back. Now 3 minutes to go on the clock.
That's going to be what? Blake should be getting the white flag here. No, 2 to go, I think.
142 laps. And Williams just got onto the lead lap.
You talk about getting the math wrong, maybe, but only 3 cars have gotten around the GT1s. Mitchell Cornett still running only behind Pfeiffer, Williams, and Callisto.
And Cornett's still 2 laps down, I'm seeing on my time in his scoring.
He is comfortably ahead of Wyckoff.
I don't think we're getting the white flag this time by. We still got 240 left.
2 to go.
All right, Reynolds lets one more HPD by. That's Michael Thompson. Still 2 laps down.
Now, that could be as Thompson... Oh, Thompson's in a pro... This is where it gets hard to tell if you have a battle or not when you look at the timing and scoring, because they're all mixed together. Rob Gall still running in 3rd in the GT1, so it looks like it's going to be Cornett, Wyckoff, and Gall if everything comes home as it is. Reynolds, Bennett, and Haley.
Across the line. Reynolds gets to the penultimate lap here.
Williams, Callisto, and... Is it Pfeiffer?
Now, what kind of laps has Brian Bennett been running here?
144.
Because has he been gaining on Reynolds, actually?
That gap is a lot closer than I recollect.
Last few laps for Bennett. 44.1, 44.8, 44.3, 44.1. Reynolds.
It's still 4.5 seconds, though.
He's definitely faster than Reynolds. But yeah, it's not enough laps left. Still, we've seen traffic can come into play here. I wonder if he gets a bad break, that could close it down. Do we ride on board our second place GT3 driver?
Stay on this battle. I just want to give an audio shout out to Jimbo Pfeiffer again. I talked about him having a good race. He's up to 3rd in class. Nice job, Jimbo.
Williams now moves himself into 7th overall. Next up the line, 16 seconds away, Clark Archer. I think that might be the only other one that he gets. If he gets there, that actually might be too tall of an ask.
Yeah, I think this is smooth sailing for Blake Reynolds. He's got nobody around him on the track right now.
He's coming around NASCAR 3 and 4. Back to the tri-oval here. White flag will be coming out with 20 seconds left to go. Whenever you start these Predator races, it's always a giant question mark. Who's able to stay out of trouble? Who's got the speed? Where is everybody going to come out? Well, today, Blake Reynolds is looking like he could come out on top. He still has to finish this lap. He still has 4 seconds over Brian Bennett.
Williams a minute and 14 back of the leader.
I think Reynolds is pushing hard to get to the end before Bennett can get to him. He's got a little bit of damage looking at that hood. Onto the banking. All that Blake Reynolds has to do is navigate the bus stop cleanly. Texas driver from Riding Shotgun, running those yellow colors in memoriam of Cody Hunt. Comes in nice and clean. He exits clean as an HPD streams on by. Everything probably making him nervous at this point. Reynolds, known for being strong on the ovals, coming out strong on the road courses as well. Comes out of NASCAR 4. He had some trouble. He overcame it. Blake Reynolds comes to the line, and he is going to win the Blackbird 2.4 of Daytona. Fireworks go off as Bennett comes to the line as well.
To make our lives easy, Williams just got around Cornette, the 2 leaders in class right now, as they work their way through the International Horseshoe, through the kink. Coming back onto the main oval now. Here we go.
Third place is only just now getting to the line here. Bradley Haley going to round out the podium. It's an all GT3 podium.
Williams managed to get Archer. Williams up to 6th spot overall. Winner in the prototype. Archer
Cornette
goes
is coming
through the
along
bus
behind
stop
him.
with Cornette going right there, 1 car between them.
How about some credit to Matthew Thunhorst? He is definitely the quiet driver of the race for me, taking a nice 4th. Brian Barnes going to round out the top 5, and Williams couldn't quite stretch it to catch Barnes. He's going to be about 10 seconds back at the line as he comes home in 6th, the first non-GT3 car.
Minute and 10 seconds off the lead.
Archer comes in behind him. I think Stevens is going to be our 8th place driver. Wow, Mitchell Cornette, our top GT1 driver, came home 18th. Not a good showing for those guys. Well, and this is a battle for position. This is for 9th. Bernie just can't quite make it.
Callisto got 8th, 2nd in class.
And that was actually for 11th place. That Trevor Clement beat Kyle Burney to the line by less than a 10th.
11 cars on the lead lap, Joe.
And with that, everybody just about finishing up their lead lap as Blake Reynolds birds it down on the banking with some half donuts there. Let's go to break. Stick around because on screen we're going to have all the upcoming races here on the Global Sim Racing channel as well. Afterwards, we'll have the unofficial race results as well as the driver interviews. Don't go away.
Hi, my name is Donovan Johns. I'm the owner-operator of Bolton Vapes here in Boise, Idaho. We opened our first location inside the Boise Town Square Mall in February of 2013. And our second location we opened up on the corner of Fairview and Milwaukee in May of 2013. One of the things that we specialize here is in the entry-level and mid-level range hardware and equipment for beginning vapors to really get the concept of vaping down and to feel confident in their education levels so they're not going to be inundated or overwhelmed with some of the higher end mods. One of the things we also do here is we have the build your own kits, which you can pick any of our entry-level, mid-level batteries and tanks and assemble it into your own kit so you can take home exactly what it is you're looking for when you leave the store.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We just watched the 2.4 hours of Daytona, brought to you by Blackbird Anesthesia Consultants. And as the fireworks fly over the Ferris wheel, it was Blake Reynolds who managed to come home with the overall win here in the Predator race. Brian Bennett and the GT3s came home in second. Bradley Haley was third with Matthew Thunhorst in fourth and Brian Barnes in fifth. Those were all GT3 cars. David Williams, your first HPD, he came home in sixth, followed by Clark Archer, another GT3. In seventh. Then it's Lionel Calisto in eighth, followed by Brett Stevens in ninth, and Trevor Clement in 10th, rounding out the top 10. Calisto was also in HPD, Bill.
Kyle Burney and Bob Beltrami. I'm going to assume those guys were both GT3s, as was Brandon Milner. Jimbo Pfeiffer in a prototype, doing this by memory, in 14th position. Scott Gruber, I think, in a GT3 as well. Bruce Snelden, GT3. Here's Mitchell Cornett. Oh, we could just do it on screen. It tells you right there. Look over there. Mitchell Cornett. There you go. In a GT1. That's your leader in that class. Bart Workman, Michael Thompson, and Richie Hearn in the prototype round out the top 20.
In the 21st position in the... Waiting for it to scroll over. There we go. James Wyckoff in the GT1 vet, with Ryan Bird in 22nd in the prototype, again with another vet of Rob Gall, and then the GT3 of David Baker. Paul Slavonic there in 25th, and John Ulmer, unfortunately for him, with a lot of pace, not the result to show. Both of them in the prototypes there, 25th, 26th, 27th. Christopher Sherburne in the Audi, and 28th to Lyndon Swaby, also in the Audi. Going back to GT1 for 29th, Aaron Stowe, and rounding out your top 30, Andy Kennedy in the GT3.
31st, going to be Brian Grandin, also HPD, 8th and more in the GT3 class, and 32nd. Adam Young in the HPD's 33rd. Mark Lossing in another Merc, 34th in GT3. Wayne Hutchison, an HPD that came home 35th. Then in 36, Ernie Ludwig in the GT3. He had a lot of action throughout the day. Same thing with Steve Jones in the HPD 37th. Kyle Murphy, they keep switching back and forth on me, in GT3 38th. Carl Burke, HPD in 39th. And finally, when I come to 40th, they finally repeat with another HPD at Mike Taylor.
Come on, give me them clustered up here. Let's see what we got in the next one.
No such luck.
That's so good. Okay. Well, you can read along who's in the Merc and who's in the prototype there. Michael Smith and Ray Partridge, Chris Pence and William Fletcher. Those guys alternate. Mercedes Drelling and Jeff Stabnow in the prototype. Patrick Fleming. Tell me they got the numbers wrong. Look at this, how they're staggered all the way down here. Patrick Fleming and Brett Trozine alternate. Chad Barker and Claude Belval. Brian?
They're in the 51st position. Marcus Armstrong and Brandon Trossel there in 52nd, both in GT3s. And AJ Clark there, very eventful night for him in that Audi. And then Mark Herzog there in the Mercedes, followed by Ryan Toma. Unfortunate night for him in the GT1. And then Jared Barclay there in 56th. Michael Lane in 57th. And shotgun on the field, Joshua Wolf in 58th.
That is your field, your finishing order for the Blackbird 2.4 hours of Daytona. We're going to talk to a few of these drivers. First up, let's talk to our overall winner. And Brian is going to interview Blake Reynolds to see how his race went for 2.4 hours.
Yeah, Blake Reynolds. It seems like every time we come to Daytona, you win. And this time, it was in a not stock car. You found yourself with some GT3 success. Good job, buddy. How was the race?
Pretty good on the most part. Just, that was stressful there at the end. All that traffic coming through. I had no idea where anybody is. I was looking at F2, just trying to guess where all the GT1s and HPDs. But I think it was pretty clear there, about 10 minutes left, that a GT car was going to win the race. And very stressful at the end. Got a bit of damage right at the end. Kind of hindered my straight line a bit. Brian was closing fast, but I think the gap was big enough there. I knew I was going to have the win, so kind of not as stressful as others. Just, I don't know, pretty good.
And so it's not a bad way, especially coming up first overall, first in class. So that scores you maximum points, especially after mixing last race, the Snowball Derby that we ran here. What happened there? Did you just get caught up in the wrong thing at the wrong time?
A bit of a goof on my part, actually. With me being Central Time and Pacific Time, I kind of get the time zones mixed up sometimes. I was out, and my, Adam Young's messaging me like, Blake, where are you? The race is starting in 5 minutes. Like, what? So I had no idea what was going on. And, I was kind of disappointed I missed that race. My pace was pretty good compared to, I think, the guys who got on the podium for that race, but I kind of disappointed I missed that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen you everywhere around here that you have good pace, and especially on the oval side. And now you're finding yourself really with a lot of road success. How does it? Where can you find that success at? Because I've known you for being a very good oval guy, and now you're showing that you're pretty competent on the road. So I guess my better question is, where did that come from?
Well, actually, mostly just racing this league. I've been in here for getting a 2015, so about 2 years of just racing in this league and watching people like Fleischle, Kalisto, even Sandman, even though he doesn't race very much, but still watching him, especially in last year's 2.4, that was quite the finish with him. Just watching people like that and just kind of racing all the cars that we race, it really gets you some experience and a better feel as the more races that you go on it. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, there you go. Before we let you go celebrate your victory, anybody else you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank all the guys at Riding Shotgun, just putting the set together. This is actually our 24-hour setup. I did not think it was going to be that good, especially with me struggling all throughout the week, practicing, and qualifying wasn't that good. It was okay, decent, but to pull it off a result like that was pretty good, especially with a setup like that. And I'll give a shout out to Nick Hunt and all he's been through the past couple of weeks. And I'm sure you've seen all the cars running yellow and tribute all like Cody Hunt there. And the little pace laps right before the race. I'll give a shout out to him. And I believe that's it.
All righty. Well, congratulations on your 2.4 hours of Daytona victory. Hopefully we'll see you back here talking again when you get the Daytona 500 here later next month.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
That was our winner overall, Blake Reynolds, here today at Daytona, second round of the Pacific Majors. We're going to skip over the podium just for a moment, and we're going to go to David Williams, where Bill is going to ask him about the highest finishing HPD and his experience.
All right, David, congratulations. Let's break it into three parts. Let's go early off where Ulmer was running away from you. Were you worried?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried, man. He was putting laps on me, man. I swear he had prayed to the traffic gods, man. They were just hitting him in the right spot. And I seemed like I kept catching people on the bus stop in turn one over and over.
Yeah, he got away from you. You ran him down, and then the traffic again, he pulled away again from you. Let's talk about the minute and 10 seconds to the leader. In the 2 hours and 24 minutes that you were racing, did you have it a minute and 10 in there somewhere that you wasted?
No, man. I was as aggressive as I could be without being dangerous. I think just too big of a gap to overcome. Really thought I could make a better average time than I did, and just didn't make a good enough average time. So that's really where we died at.
Okay, let's talk in the future here. The new baby is now a toddler. Is the youngster going to let you race at the Audubon Series this year?
I don't know, man. The wife's pregnant again, so looking like probably August. Thank you. Probably August we're gonna have another one. So we'll see how this last half of this year goes on this league, and see if I can get time in there for the other one. But yeah, the little one, he's good, man. Rowan, he's pretty good. So he's good for the wife. The wife lets me race. The 4-year-old, she's good. So I can usually get away, and I can sneak it out here, 5 or 6 times a night, or a week rather, and get a couple hours in practice to be prepared. So it goes well.
Good job. It sounds like you got a good thing going on there. Congratulations on the win today and on the family life as well.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, before we go, man, really want to give a shout out to Nick Hunt. I know Blake brought it up too, but our thoughts and prayers are with the whole Hunt family. And if you haven't done so yet, please come by my PayPal and donate. We're trying to raise money for Molly, who was Cody's 4-year-old daughter, to have a college fund. They're trying to set up one. So, get a hold of me at dawilliams00_7 at yahoo.com. You can either email me or just send direct link to PayPal if you want to donate. That'd be awesome. All proceeds are going to go here to Nick in about, I'll say 12 hours. I'll give time for final things to trickle in. But just thinking about you, Nick, and your family, man. Hope everybody's doing okay.
Couldn't have said it better. Nice job, David. Congratulations. David Williams, your overall winner in the prototypes today. Joe?
Well, we haven't seen sight of our overall winner in the GT1, so hopefully we'll get him in. In the meantime, we're going to talk to our second place driver, Brian Bennett, and see how his race went in the GT3s. First off, Brian, boy, that opening hour for the GT3s, we kept seeing problem after problem for the top 5.
Well, I didn't see much of it. I was up front doing my thing, which was my goal, I suppose. And I did get a little loose, leaving, corner 3, the International Horseshoe, and ended up out in the grass. I gathered it in, but I lost 10 or 12 seconds probably. So after that, really, it made it all I had to do was run my laps. I didn't have to worry about getting drafted aggressively or anything, because it cut me loose to just do my own thing. So it was all right.
Do you think if you hadn't have lost those 10 seconds or so, you could have taken the win from Blake, or do you think he ran as good of a race as possible?
I didn't get to witness it really much. I know Blake's solid in every facet of this iRacing, so he's always hard to beat. I was saying it earlier at the end of the race, after the race, to the other Alliance guys, there's been more than a few times I've been at the end of the race, and I'm hoping somehow that Blake blew his pit strategy.
Well,
no, it was, that was no big deal. That was early in the race, plenty of time to make up for it, and we did make up for it. I got back in the lead in the middle stint. My plan was to do a full fuel and then take 20 laps and no tires, and that got me, or 20 gallons and no tires, and that put me right back in the lead where I wanted to be. But I got into it with a lapped car and lost a fair amount of time. That was a deal breaker for me.
Seems like you're not alone, honestly. A lot of drivers ran into trouble this time around at Daytona. And speaking of Daytona, are you looking forward to the 500? Completely different style of racing.
Yeah, it's fun. I'd like to atone for my mistakes last year. Don't we all want to if we didn't win it, right? Yeah. Blake, again. No, I want to, I look forward to it. It's challenging. It's challenging to be that close to anybody. It's hard to survive if there's an accident, so we'll just do the best we can.
That's what anybody can hope for in racing, is get out there and do your best. And seems like you did that today, coming home in second, only 4 seconds behind. Nicely done with a podium finish.
Thank you. This race, everybody, I'm sure others talked about it, but Nick Hunt's family, that's horrible news. I don't know Nick, but, being a 50-year-old man, I know that none of us are supposed to outlive our children, so it's horrible what has happened to him, and it's with a heavy heart, that this event happened.
Yeah, we completely understand, and I think all of us in the booth tend to feel a little bit close to the drivers as we call your races over the years, so it definitely hit us as well. And that was Brian Bennett, our second place finisher in the GT3s and overall. Since we didn't get our GT1 winner coming by, we're going to talk to the last podium finisher, another GT3 driver, Bradley Haley. Let's pull him in and talk about this newcomer and his incredible impact that he's had on this series. Brad, this is only race 4, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Is that win forthcoming? You've been oh so close since your first race.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Yeah, it was. We all had good pace. I think I messed up by not unchecking my tires in the beginning, and that second half of the race was on pretty used up tires.
We wondered about that decision. It seemed like it could maybe get you something as you were coming out of the pits. Did you regret it once you saw the GT3 leader sneak by?
I regretted it when Brian caught up to me, and then I had that mistake after turn 1. But I I ran some lower fuel and tried to save as much as I could, and was able. I was kind of surprised when I came back out and Blake was right there. He had a pretty big gap on me.
Nearly moved you up into the lead based on strategy, and sometimes that's all you need for an opportunity. Didn't quite work out. Still a podium finish. Do you feel proud of that?
Yeah, totally. This was. I was getting worried there towards the end. It was going to happen to what happened last time at, I think it was Petit Le Mans, where I just missed it. But I was glad to hang on. I was surprised the HPD guys weren't up there.
Well, you'll get a couple more chances with the Predator races. You certainly seem to be a force on these, and we look forward to seeing you again.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Bradley Haley, final podium finisher here at the Blackbird 2.4 Hours of Daytona. And with that, we are going to close up here after a long, intense race here down in Florida. Of course, a big thank you one more time for Blackbird Anesthesia Consultants. Definitely give them a look. They are the official sponsor of this race, and make sure this thing came on. A big thanks to Mike Willett, who organized this race. He does a lot of work behind the scenes along with his official team of helpers. There's a lot of guys now that are really doing everything they can to give him some input from a driver's perspective and help improve these races year in and year out. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast. You can see those listed on your screen. And additional thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can also find at the websites listed. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Brian, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /GlobalSimRacingChannel. Next race, we're not leaving this place. We're going back for the Daytona 500. That'll be Sunday, February 26th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss that one. That is another unpredictable race, 500 long, hard miles around here. We also have upcoming races for other series on screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.